What up, everybody? Good morning and a very happy Friday to you. The end of the work week is finally here. The final Friday for this month of January. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your start. If you are already up and at it, whether you're listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, available to stream online at sportstalk1051.com. You got your Alexa device. Just say, "Yo, Alexa, play WAYY." YouTube video stream is also up and rolling here this morning. You got the Wisco Sports App. Shoe Doctor's bullpen line up and rolling as well. Start to hit us up with some messages in that. 715-830-1912. What do we have on our game plan for us this morning to wrap up the week? Bucks lost again. No problem. No surprise. But again, the Wizards, a team that's got 12 wins now total of the season. 3 of them have come against the Milwaukee Bucks. Because of course, why not? Wizards somehow own the Bucks, but I guess what team hasn't owned the Milwaukee Bucks at this point? Oh, man. Miles Turner leading the way again. 21 points. Bobby Portis, 19. Kyle Kuzma, 19. Ryan Rollins, 17. Nance even getting some extra playing time, 13. And that's it. 109-99. Falling to the Wizards. Great googly moogly. So, we're less now. We are officially less than a week now from the NBA trade deadline. Nothing really new other than, Warriors have a package. So-and-so has a package. This team has a package. Be careful on Twitter /X2 of people reporting certain packages and such. Just do a little research and do a little background check. Don't fall into the trap. I've been seeing a lot of people posting stuff and sending me stuff, and it's like, just take a look at who that person is and maybe look at, the date that it was posted, and I'll just be careful, okay? AI and just fake accounts and fake stuff out there, it'll catch you. It could catch you, so just be careful, all right? But we'll throw some hoops talk in here this morning and that. And Packers-wise, they did lose their quarterbacks coach, Sean Mannion. Sean Mannion is going to be the new offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. Quite the rise for the young coach. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. Just a couple of years ago, he was still playing in the NFL. Then, was it 2 years ago, working under Tom Clements, this year becoming the quarterbacks coach for the Packers, and now he's going to go to the Philadelphia Eagles, where he will be the play caller on a Super Bowl caliber team. So what a rise through the coaching ranks here for Sean Mannion, which now means the Packers, this is at least the first one that we know of from the offensive side that the Packers are going to have to fill in that position. It seems like Luke Getsy would just be the natural slide into that position since he's already on staff as like an assistant, a senior assistant, and that. So it would feel like that's the natural one, but it remains to be seen. Nathaniel Hackett is an option. He's going down to Miami with Jeff Hafley and going to be their quarterbacks coach down there for whoever their quarterback is going to be. So we'll throw a little football chat in here as well. Got that. We are going to talk some Brewers. Brewers.com, Adam McCulvey. He had a mailbag stuff, but he's got some quotes here from Pat Murphy and talking about the rotation. He kind of alluded to maybe some more moves coming. Because when you look at this, or when you look at the write-up, says if you're one of the folks looking at the Brewers' depth chart in the wake of Freddie Peralta trade and wondering what it would look like with some additional veteran starting pitching, you've got company. The 2-time defending National League Manager of the Year award winner sees the same thing. Quote, I think every team is mindful of their rotation just because of the validity of pitching injuries and the trends in baseball of how many pitchers are needed in a season. So I think that's always a concern, probably the number one concern. I think we'll probably have to shore that up. goes on to say he had the same concern as last season while lobbying the front office to add a free agent veteran, Jose Quintana, as we know, in March of last year. So possibly maybe bringing back Jose Quintana, maybe another veteran. Remember, they didn't bring Quintana in until after spring training had already started. So that definitely could be a possibility. Murphy also saying, Aaron Ashby, DL Hall, they're capable of being in that starting rotation. Saying now with trading Freddie and Tobias, I think there might be more of a need for at least one of them to step in that role. Ashby has kind of separated himself, and he's done a great job in that relief role. He can handle that, and he's really resilient. So, also, he was asked about his contract situation because he is entering the final year of his deal. Said, quote, "I'm just going to keep that private. I think I've made it clear that this is a great fit for me. I can't think of another place that would be as good as a fit as this." Did say he wants to continue managing beyond his contract expiration. So, and there's some other quotes we're going to get to here from Pat Murphy, what he had to say about the new kind of structure of the coaching staff and such. So we'll go through that and kind of get his mindset, what he's thinking, how it's all going to play out, and that. So Brewers talk, baseball talk coming at you throughout the morning as we are inching close. We got less than a month away from the first spring training game. So think about that. Probably, that's the eye on the prize, if you will. But, yeah, less than a month away will be our first spring training game. So getting there. Getting close. What else do we have on the docket? We'll do a Carpet City Flooring Center local sports spotlight. So we'll hit that up with Mr. Brandon Berg, or local sports roundup, excuse me. We'll hit that up with Mr. Brandon Berg. Also, we have the AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle this morning. Hey, if you want to throw in some suggestions, some topics for a little Pump the Brakes or Full Throttle, why not? Send them on over, all right? Hit me up with a quick text, 715-830-1912, or put it up on the video stream. So we'll hit that. We got Cream of the Crop coming at you. If you want to make your picks again with Cream of the Crop, hey, you can do that too. So, but that you can send those throughout the morning if you'd like. So. We'll maybe throw a little college hoops talk in here, too, with the Badgers going to be back in action coming up this weekend, too. So, but that's kind of your game plan here for this morning. And, hey, you got something else on your mind that you want to share with the rest of the class, with the rest of the listeners, with the rest of the group here? It's Friday. It's a TGIF, right? Send it on over. Why not? All right? Send it on over. We don't have football this weekend to kind of break down and look ahead. We just maybe kind of a sad weekend, you get down, or maybe you're kind of looking at this as like, I need a break, man. I need a break. So, but hey, let's pitter patter. Let's get at her, shall we? We'll get things rocking and rolling right away here this morning. We'll take our first break, and then we'll chat Packers. New the quarterback's coach gone. Latest rumblings, rumors surrounding some of the other movement with the team. Also, we'll throw in some Bucks chat, another loss to the Wizards. We'll throw in some baseball chat here, too, with the Brewers and such, as we are less than a month away from that first spring training game. So let's get at it, shall we? We'll take our first break, and then we'll jump right into it here this morning. We'll be back with the leadoff in just a couple minutes. When it's time to shop and make it easy on yourself, and just head to Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. From fresh produce and bakery favorites to pantry staples, household items, and everyday essentials, Hy-Vee in Eau Claire makes it simple to get everything you need in one stop. With friendly service, great selection, and helpful local items helpful local teams ready to assist, shopping is always convenient. Shop in-store, online, use curbside pickup delivery. Save time every week. Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. So Packers will be looking for a new quarterbacks coach, and I know the kind of the thought for a few people is it is a rather significant loss here for the Pack, and obviously you look at what the job that he did with Jordan Love this previous season. So I look at it as, to me, it would just make sense for a replacement there. You'd look at Luke Getsy just to kind of go into that role and such. So we'll see if that plays out. But that wasn't the only other Packer to leave, reportedly going to be leaving Green Bay. Now, he wasn't a coach, but he's going to get back into coaching. James Campman, somebody who we mentioned a little bit before, but he is going to reportedly go to Pittsburgh to be the offensive line coach under Mike McCarthy. So that is also happening. Also, Mike McCarthy apparently interviewing one Scott Tolzien for the offensive coordinator position for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Catman's back as offensive line. Scott Tolzien's going to be over there as offensive coordinator. There you have it. Aaron Rodgers, how do you not come back for another year under Big Mike, right? But, man, that putting the band back together, it seems like. Where's Joe Philbin at these days? Maybe bring back Joe Philbin as an offensive assistant too. So, but back to, in terms of Green Bay, the Sean Mannion one, I know there's a lot of hype and a lot of excitement surrounding it, and rightfully so. I mean, everybody kind of seems like that's a dude whose stock is really, really, really rising. And if he does have success as the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, it probably will be within the next couple of years that he's going to get a head coaching opportunity across the league. I mean, this is a big time jump, and I know a lot of fans were kind of saying, why didn't LaFleur maybe promote him to offensive coordinator and move on from Adam Stedovich? Because it wasn't going to come with play calling duties. Philadelphia comes with play calling duties, and I know the instant comeback for a lot of fans are going to be, well, then it should be play calling duty for the Packers and such. But don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you right now, it's not coming with play calling duties in Green Bay. So we'll see how it plays out. But Sean Mannion has definitely put himself in a position to maybe in a couple years become a head coach in this league. But obviously Philadelphia saw something, and yes, I've seen the comparisons that last time Philadelphia hired a quarterbacks coach from Green Bay, it worked out pretty well for them in Andy Reid. So, but I think it's going to be Luke Getsy. That, if my gut would be that Luke Getsy just kind of goes into that role, into that position. So, but other than that, kind of fairly quiet. We talked a little bit about the new linebackers coach coming from coming to Green Bay yesterday. So if anything happens to pop up again this week or this morning, we'll definitely hit it. So not Packers related, but I did think it was kind of interesting considering we're talking about head coaches and play callers, whether they're going to be the play callers and such. So Robert Saleh, okay. I thought this was kind of interesting. So Robert Saleh, when he was with the Jets as head coach, he was not the play caller. Okay, he was not the play caller for the defensive side. That is going to change now with him being the head coach at the Tennessee Titans. Robert Saleh is going to be calling, and the quote that he said was, calling plays for me is not necessarily about control, but it's about connecting with the players. When you are a play caller and you are calling plays, you feel the strain you're putting on them with each call. You're feeling the connection. You're feeling what each one is going through. I can feel the weight of the play call on individual players in those moments. He also said he felt like the, quote, timeout red card guy when he was not calling plays, which is, I don't know how many times, or I think this is kind of rare where we've had a guy or a coach, in this instance, where didn't call plays as a head coach, gets another opportunity, and is like, nope, I'm going to call plays this time. It's a debate that is out there for, it'll always be a debate. It'll always be a topic of discussion, whether a head coach should be the play caller or not, whether they should, delegate those duties and focus on other things. Well, you got a guy here now. Now, is it more so because this is his second run as a head coach? And maybe he does want to, I know he said he doesn't, it's not about control, but maybe he wants a little bit more control, just deep down. It's like, hey, this is probably going to be my last run as a head coach. Never say never, but I want to make sure that this one's going to be more successful, obviously. So I kind of trust myself a little bit more. Maybe that's the thought process as such. I don't know. But I thought it was kind of an interesting way he described it. The connection with his players, the weight, the strain of putting that on there. And that's an interesting perspective that we haven't really heard too much about when it comes from play callers and that. So, I know Mike McCarthy's calling plays. He's going to be doing that. He talked about that in his presser and such. So, you kind of look at it across the league, and you look at it in this Super Bowl matchup too. You've got examples of both, right? You got an example of Mike McDonald, who is still calling plays as the defense for the Seattle Seahawks. Mike Vrabel not calling plays for the New England Patriots. And that's the thing too. It's like you got both sides there. And remember too, New England, their original defensive coordinator, Washington and such, was missing time and such, and they just kind of delegated it to their linebackers coach. There's no right or wrong answer in this thing. We all probably have our own preferences as fans, and certain coaches are going to have their preferences and their mindsets and such. But the reality of it all is that we've seen examples of it working for multiple teams. If there was one way to do it, if there was only one way, like it was a clear-cut, big gap of example where, oh man, look at like 90% of the Super Bowl winners didn't call plays for their team, then maybe you see the trend. But it is, you can see plenty of examples of it either way. Some, I think, do a better job of handling play calling duties along with being a head coach. There's no question about it. There's plenty of examples of guys or of people, head coaches, that they can handle both. They can take both of those responsibilities on, and they can do a really good job. Some can't. For whatever reason, some struggle with it. I feel like the Kyle Shanahans, the Sean McVays, they've got a good grasp of it. They've got a good grasp of calling plays, being the head coach. I know the Andy Reid one is still kind of like a big old mystery, how much he does call play. Remember that? I don't know if that was much of a factor this year, but like when Eric Bieniemy was first with the team, it's like, well, is Bieniemy calling plays? Is it Andy Reid? You'd always hear it's kind of a combo. It was kind of like when Paul Chryst was head coach at Wisconsin, and the whole debate was, well, is Chryst calling plays? Is it Rudolph? Is it somebody else? It was kind of hush-hush sort of thing. You have Nick Sirianni, who's not calling plays for the Eagles, but he keeps changing offensive coordinators because they're either leaving for another job, getting fired, leaving for another job, getting fired. Shane Steichen was his original offensive coordinator. Now he's with the Colts. His replacement got fired after a year. Kellen Moore comes in. They win a Super Bowl. He gets a head coaching job. His replacement gets fired, and now we're back to Sean Mannion, again, getting the opportunity. So if you go by patterns, maybe that means Philadelphia is going to be in a good spot for their new offensive coordinator. I don't know. But, yeah, it's because I know a lot of people would like to see, a lot of Packers fans would like to see Matt LaFleur potentially giving up those play calling duties. But I think it's probably safe to say right now that's not happening. That's not happening. So, all right, we'll take another quick break here. We'll talk some Brewers, talk some Bucks, as we're already halfway through the first hour this morning. So, feel free to send us your thoughts, your topic ideas, something on your mind. Want to send it on over? It's a little TGIF action. Why not? Why not? All right, quick break. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Looking for a great place to gather in Eau Claire? Well, you need to check out the VFW Post 305 with a full calendar of events, live music, and a menu packed with crowd favorites. It's a spot where everyone feels welcome. Whether you're stopping in for a casual night out, meeting friends, or catching up over great food and drinks, there's always something happening at the VFW Post. Located at 1300 Star Avenue in Eau Claire. And put this on your calendars, all right? Because it's less than 2 months away. March 20th, the Friday of March Madness. We're going to be hanging out at the VFW Post 305 for a little skip day. All right, maybe a lot of you already have that Friday off. Maybe you take it off to watch some hoops and such with March Madness and that. So we're going to be doing the program and hanging out. More details to come, including some specials and stuff. But put it on your calendar. March 20th, we'll be hanging out at the VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue for a little hoops skip day extravaganza. So that's, again, more details to come. But I wanted to throw that out there. So maybe you were hemming and hawing and debating whether you should put in, day off if you need if you need an excuse. If you need like a written excuse and such, let me know and I'll write one out for your boss and that. All right. So, all right, let's talk a little baseball here just to kind of maybe warm up and such, because I'm getting a little bit more excited for baseball season coming up here. I'm starting to get there. So, Pat Murphy with some comments here in the latest mailbag from Adam McCulvey at Brewers.com. And I thought there was some interesting stuff here talking about the starting rotation. And it sounds like, too, he maybe would like to add a veteran. Sounds like he'd like to add a veteran to this group. This was a quote saying, "I think every team is mindful of their rotation just because of the validity of pitching injuries and the trends in baseball of how many pitchers are needed in a season. So I think that's always a concern, probably the number one concern. I think we'll probably have to shore that up." They got a lot of options when you look at that depth chart and roster, and they got a lot of guys that have a little bit of experience in terms of, starts and such, but maybe they want a little bit more veteran experience because of outside of Brandon Woodruff, they're still fairly young. Yeah, Quinn Priester pitched a lot last year. Mizorowski got some experience. Henderson got some experience. Chad Patrick got some experience. But maybe they want another veteran, maybe another lefty veteran to add to that rotation. He did acknowledge that Aaron Ashby, DL Hall, who are a couple left-handers, have a history of starters too, that they could be an option, saying, quote, "They're both capable now with trading Freddie and Tobias. I think there might be more of a need for at least one of them to step in that role. Ashby has kind of separated himself, and he's done a great job in that relief role. He can handle that, and he's really resilient." Another thing that I thought was kind of interesting, it comes to the reconfigured coaching staff. And no bench coach, no associate manager. How is this going to play out? And when you look at it, here's a couple quotes from Murphy. He said, "I don't believe that you look at a team's result and you equate it to it not making changes. I'm always looking to tweak and put people in better positions. It's always about trying to improve." He rather several coaches will collaborate to fill duties traditionally ascribed to a bench coach. And the spring training games, the Cactus League games, are going to be an opportunity to kind of iron that out. So obviously they've got a plan. We're sitting here wondering what it is, when Pat Murphy eventually gets ejected from a game, who's going to be that guy? Who's going to be the guy that fills in? They're going to have a plan. It's not like they're just going to shoot from the hip. They got an idea. They're probably going to tinker with it experiment with it a little bit in spring training, but they got a plan. I'm really interested to see how that plan plays out and seeing the different roles in that. And I wonder if it's going back to something we talked about a few weeks ago when they announced, Daniel Vogelbach and the coaching staff and Ed. And it kind of, if you read Matt Arnold's comments from back then, it kind of gave the impression that maybe Jim Henderson's that guy, because Matt Arnold talked about Jim Henderson being more involved with Murph and the, kind of the day-to-day stuff and the overall team stuff and that. So it kind of gave the impression that maybe it's Jim Henderson. And I don't know if that means, because, when Ricky Weeks was hired as the associate manager, it felt like that, okay, Ricky Weeks is going to be the eventual manager. Associate manager, maybe it's kind of on-the-job training, and then after a couple seasons, after a few years, Ricky Weeks would be the guy. Maybe Murphy was just kind of a stopgate fill-in. Well, you win Manager of the Year 2 times back-to-back in your first 2 years. I don't think anybody is anxious and ready to move on from Murph. And then maybe just Ricky Weeks kind of thought, too, it's like, hey, maybe it's not my thing. Manager, maybe I want to try this, front office sort of thing. Who knows? Point being, I don't think anybody is ready to move on from Murph or wonder who's going to be that next man up, who's going to be the eventual manager. I get it. Murph is 67. He is entering the final year of his contract. But I can't imagine the Brewers would want anybody else at this point. I can't imagine they're ready to move on from him and hand the reins over to a Henderson or maybe a Weeks or whatever. But it is something worth watching. I know our good buddy Brandon has talked about this, because it sure looks like that, at least right now, they're going to be entering spring training without a contract extension, but it's something that's not concerning Murph. As Adam McCalvey points out, there's only one area Murphy says he isn't concerned about as the start of spring training approaches: his own contract. It's set to expire at the end of 2026, and at 67 years old, he wants to continue managing beyond that. Quote, I'm just going to keep that private. I think I've made it clear that this is a great fit for me. I can't think of any other place that would be a good fit as this. Now, I think it is clearly obvious Pat Murphy has earned a pay raise, right? I mean, he's earned a boost in pay. Taking a lot of, looking at these two teams and seeing what he's been able to accomplish in these 2 years and to win back-to-back Manager of the Year awards. The guy has earned a pay raise. I hope they're not going to shortchange him. Murphy is a very interesting type of style manager, and I think we've had this discussion before, but could he work in a situation where it's a very veteran-heavy team? But, that's been a debate we've had. But then you hear these veterans kind of talk about, their experiences and respect for Murph. So I think it's kind of just almost a given, and it's a foregone conclusion that, all right, Murphy's a former college coach, so that's why this is a perfect fit, because they have a lot of younger dudes on there, and that's why he fits with this team maybe a little bit better. I don't know if that's the case. It seems like it, but I really, really, really hope that the Brewers don't try to shortchange this or try to play hardball with Pat Murphy. I think the success that Pat Murphy has had in his 2 years as manager has caught everybody off guard. I honestly believe, I don't think the Brewers, they could sit there and say, well, that was always the goal, that was the expectation, to have the success that they've had so far. I don't think they expected it. I think it has gone better than they could have imagined, that they're like, oh, especially when you go to like Mark Adanasio's comments, if you rewind it, and he talked about, he didn't know a whole lot about Murph, pretty much admitted that maybe he wasn't going to be a serious candidate. So it really felt like that he kind of set the bar low, or the bar was pretty low when it came to the expectations for Murph, and Murph just like blew that door down. Just blew that thing down. I want him around for a while. I know he's 67, but that guy, he's got the soul of what? A young man, a 30-some-year-old. All right, we'll take our final break to wrap up the first hour. I can't remember if I mentioned in the beginning, but we will have an Inside the Training Room with Dr. Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics, and Sports Medicine. So I want to talk Bo Nick's injury with him. Sean Payton kind of given a weird, he said he was kind of like almost pretty much said that he was suffering from something that was going to be predetermined. He was going to have a broken ankle at some point. Josh Allen's, he had foot surgery. We'll talk about that. But there is a thing on Packers Twitter that is maybe giving some Packers fans a little concern about Zach Tom and his recovery from his patellar tendon. There's a thing that's going on there that Packers fans are wondering, is Zach Tom not going to be the same player because of this type of injury? We'll talk to the expert himself, Dr. Crow, coming up just past 7 o'clock. So if you have seen those talking points or those thoughts out there or those rumblings, we'll ask the expert himself. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back to wrap up the first hour. Coming up after these few words. If you're thinking about new floors, there's one name in the Chippewa Valley that homeowners know. That is Carpet City Flooring Center right here in Eau Claire. From soft, comfortable carpet to durable luxury vinyl planks and tile, Carpet City Flooring Center has flooring options designed for real homes and real life. Whether you're updating a single room, finishing a basement, or maybe remodeling your entire home, their experienced team helps you find the right floor matching your style, your needs, and yes, your budget. You'll get knowledgeable guidance, quality products, and professional installation all in one place. No confusing choices, no high-pressure sales, just honest advice and flooring that you'll feel good about for years to come. Visit Carpet City Flooring Center today at 3109 East Hamilton Avenue in Eau Claire and see the difference for yourself. Hey, when it comes time to change your floors, starts with Carpet City Flooring Center. Maybe for your tax return this year, if you've been doing that, getting those done. Yeah? Trying to figure out, hey, what do I spend the return on? Boom. How about some new floors in the man cave or maybe the kitchen and such? Whatever the case may be, Carpet City Flooring Center is your destination flooring store. Bucks, as we start to wrap up this first hour, if it really surprise anybody, losing again to the Washington flippin' Wizards. 109-99. 18-28. 10 games under 500 for this Bucks team. Let's just tank it. Let's just tank it. I mean, come on. Now it's becoming a joke. Now it's becoming pathetic. Yeah. And I hate saying that. I really do. It stinks. What can you do at this point that could instantly change it? You'd have to go on a great run. And I'm not saying that it's impossible. But you would have to really, I mean, what the goal is to try to get to the play-in round and then call itself, say good night and call itself good on the season, a successful season. No, right now I'm at the point just tank it. Let's get a decent pick. And what looks to be, I say that now because I know all the experts are saying, this is going to be a loaded draft and such. And the odds are a lot of the guys that they're assuming that it'll be in a draft will probably be in a draft. Knock on wood that a lot of those guys don't get hurt in college ball and such. But still, just tank it. I mean, I hate saying that, but this team, what can we say that hasn't already been said about this Bucks team? And this is on the heels too. Remember when Doc last week talked about, it was after that Thunder game. Talked about this was an important stretch for them, winnable games. Loss. Psh. Now you got the Celtics coming up on Sunday in Boston. Yeah. I hate it. I'm just blow it up. I mean, they're 4 games out from the 10th spot in the Eastern Conference play-in. I know part of the talk last year, hindsight's 2020 now at this point. But remember last summer, the talk about should the Bucks trade Giannis to the Dallas Mavericks for the number 1 pick, which would have been Cooper Flag. Now, I don't know if that would have actually been legit, if Dallas would have done that. I don't know, but that was a talking point out there. Boy, if that was legit, okay, if that really was legit from, let's say the Mavericks made that proposition. I don't know if they did or not. I'd kind of be surprised they did, but I don't know. Maybe they did. But if they did and the Bucks said no, I kind of would have understood, but now hindsight 2020 is like, dang. And Dallas isn't that great either. They're 10 games under 500. But, I mean, Cooper Flag right now, 19.5 points per game, 6.5 rebounds. Just, another great night last night. Something to build on. Yeah, 49 points. 49 points. for Cooper Flagg last night. Con Knippel, I mean, that kid, that has been, you look at what Con has been doing this year too, man. I think he has surprised a lot of people with his play. 18.9 points per game, 5.5 boards per game. 3-point shooting is just insane for him. But Cooper Flagg's 49 points, the most. I love how they phrase this too. The most in NBA history by a teenager, breaking Dallas's rookie record as well. So, Con had 34 points down the stretch too. How did Duke not win a championship with those two guys? Man. But I think we're at that point. It's just let's blow it up. Let's blow it up. Let's move it on. So, all right. Got a couple minutes left to the top of the hour. So coming up next hour, we'll kick it off with a little Inside the Training Room with our guy, Dr. Crow. We'll talk a little bit about the Twitter rumor out there. Again, this is the thing. When it comes to Giannis rumors, when it comes to Packers rumors or all this stuff, be careful. Okay? Just because somebody has a lot of follows or something doesn't mean squat. Be careful with a lot of that stuff out there. But it is 2026, and that's the day that we're in. So, I mean, we could pretend to be an insider and throw something out there and run with it as truth. But be careful with some of that stuff. But we will talk to Dr. Crow about one of the Twitter rumors out there about is Zach Tom not going to be able to come back from his injury. Talk a little Drake, Bo Nix, and Josh Allen and such. After that, we'll catch up with our guy, Brandon Berg. We've got our AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes, Full Throttle. We'll hit that up. Also, your cream of the crops. We'll take those throughout the morning. We'll make our picks. We'll do some Carpet City Flooring Center local sports roundup with Brandon. We'll get back. I want to get to some more Brewers talk with Brandon as well as we are inching a little bit closer and closer to the start of spring training. We're less than a month away from the first spring training game. Pitchers and catchers are going to be reporting here. I think now less than a couple weeks. So that would be one thing. Going back to Murph's comments about adding a veteran, I wish they would do it a little bit earlier. I understand maybe going into camp and maybe seeing what you got and such, and some of those veterans may not want to go right away. But remember last year too, Quintana wasn't ready. Was it the first turn of the rotation or maybe the first couple turns of the rotation because he had gotten to camp a little bit later on? So I don't know. I'd rather have them come in a little bit earlier just so that they're ready to go to kick off the season and that. But we'll see. We'll see if they decide to bring back Jose Quintana or maybe they bring back another veteran. But what was the latest shredder? Oh, the top shortstops. That's right. Don't think you have to worry about Joey Ortiz on there. But Bobby Witt Jr., yeah, he got number one. No surprise. Corey Seager, Francisco Lindor, Gunnar Henderson, Mookie Betts, your top five. When's the next one coming up? Tonight. Center fielders. I don't think Garrett Mitchell will make top 10 like he did last year. Although Garrett Mitchell surprised, I think, a lot of people getting named in that top 10. I don't think he'll be the top 10 this year. Who knows? Never say never, I guess. Then it kicks back up next week with catchers and right fielders. Sal Frelick, right fielder. Contreras, catcher. Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. So, but no, we'll talk some more Brewers with B and such, and get back to a little more football chat with the movement of position coaches and all that fun stuff here too. So no football this weekend. You taking advantage of it? You a little down? A little sad? I'm taking advantage of it. I'm okay. I need a little bit of a break, to be honest with you. I'm good with having a weekend off once in a while. So I will be sad after Super Bowl, though, because then we don't have any more games for a while. So, all right. 1 in, 3 more to go. First quarter's in the books. We got news updates, and we'll be back. We'll kick it off with a little Inside the Training Room coming up after these quick words. All right, here we go. Second hour, kicking off right now on this Friday morning of January 30th, the final Friday for this month. Coming up in a little bit, we'll do some local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center with our good buddy, Mr. Brandon Berg. We'll also do some cream of the crop. We'll also do some AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. Get back to some more hoops talk, a little football chat as well. We kick off this hour like we normally do every Friday, though, catching up with our doctor, Mr. Austin Crow, Dr. Austin Crow from Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Good morning, Austin. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic.
Hey, let's talk a little football injuries and such. So Josh Allen yesterday, after the Buffalo Bills were introducing their new head coach, Joe Brady and such, Josh Allen was in a cast, walking boot. He said had surgery on the fifth metatarsal, so he was pretty specific on the injury and such. So I think I had seen a timeline 8 to 10 weeks and such. I guess my question to you is, with the portion of that foot, is that a serious injury? Is that tough to come by? I know you've talked about, blood flow with that particular area and such. Is that any cause of concern for maybe Bills fans out there?
Well, I mean, I think it's almost definitely a Jones fracture. So we have talked about that in the past because it's a pretty common injury that athletes encounter. So there's really two main varieties of it. One is basically a stress fracture that just attritional energy goes through that bone because the poor blood supply isn't able to heal correctly, and then you develop a stress fracture, which then can complete. The other version is more traumatic. Now, the traumatic one is obviously an injury, but still, same concept. Poor blood flow can inhibit healing. So a lot of times these fifth metatarsal fractures, they're there, they can linger, and you try to see if you can get through without surgery. But in an athlete, we have a low threshold to do exactly what they did here, in that you put a screw. So, bones have a inner canal, we call it the medullary canal. And so you basically put a big screw right down the middle of it. You kind of shish kebab the whole bone. So this surgery has a high rate of healing correctly. Now, so the odds of it healing correctly at this point, very high. Sometimes it does irritate because that screw goes right into the base of it, and that's where one of the perineal tendons inserts. And so it's not infrequent. You have to come back and do a second surgery later. But that's not a big one either. So I would say, is it a huge concern? No, it's not. I mean, Jones fractures can be finicky, but I would say the odds of this healing correctly in him are quite high. So I think it'll be something that they'll get through the offseason, maybe consider taking the screw at a later date, maybe not, but should heal pretty well for him.
I don't know if you saw this when it came to Bo Nix, but Sean Payton said, when they performed the surgery, that they found a condition that was predisposed, that it was only a matter of if it was a matter of, it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when you look at the play and you're trying to evaluate it, the operating surgeon said that this was going to happen sooner than later. Is that a real thing? Is that something that maybe Bo Nix had something going on with his ankle that eventually it was going to break?
Yeah, I mean, not that I'm aware of it. I'm trying to think of things that could do that. You have like a congenital issue where like there's like a bone deformity, but he certainly doesn't have like a severe, deformity of his foot, like, bad club foot or something like that would somehow put you in a high risk category. I wonder if that's just like a little bit of a miscommunication along the way, because there's not really a condition that we typically see that people will be super predisposed. Now, there are things that people can have that can be problematic. So like you can have like an OCD lesion, which is like an area of bone that dies. It usually happens when you're a teenager. That can be problematic down the road, but that's not a broken bone per se. In this one, the reports I've kind of read on it a little bit. They haven't really explicitly said what it was, but I do know Bo at some point came out and said it's a, quote, typical fracture pattern. So it means it's probably a standard fibula or medial malleolus fracture, which then, again, I don't know of any real true, condition that will really predispose you for that problem. So I don't know if there's much to that, truthfully.
Yeah, and then I know Bo Nix came out and said he disagreed with Peyton and said nothing predisposed, nothing that was there originally. But he also went on to say, I don't think Sean Payton, should really share how many surgeries I've had in the past, to be honest with you. So I don't know if there's been multiple ankle injuries that could affect that. I don't know, but kind of a weird statement.
Yeah, well, first of all, it is interesting that Sean Payton, he announced it like at the post game press conference. Like they're already announcing the surgery, right, or the fact he'll need surgery right away. I mean, obviously it's unique because, most injuries we have HIPAA, right? So, you break your leg, you come see me. I don't go on the TV and say, hey, guess who broke his leg, right? We protect patients' privacy. It's unique because the NFL injuries are required to be disclosed and they fall under work comp. So it's a work comp injury. So it's a unique scenario where people do have their health talked about. Now, athletes, of course, have, not only the short term to worry about, they have long term. So Bo Nix, if he has an ankle that's problematic, when it comes to signing his next contract, a team may say, wait a minute, like you have this ankle that's bad. You've had 5 surgeries on it. That's not information he necessarily wants disclosed. Teams will do their due diligence and get some of that information, but medical information is even for them to a certain degree is protected. So he may not want all of his, dirty laundry in the air to be like, hey, look, this is my background with this. This is going to be a problematic joint because if you think of the contracts that teams are putting in, especially at the quarterback position in the NFL, any red flag will make them say, whoa, like, is that something we really want to invest, $100 million, $200 million in? I'm not saying Bo Nix will get one of those contracts, but he's on that, rise that he could be in line for something like that in the future. So for him, he may not want that information out there. And so I think maybe that's a little bit of a guarded way of saying it. Obviously Sean Payton does things Sean Payton's way. He's just a hard-nosed coach. I think I told you one of my high school friends coaches with him. He's a running backs coach out at Denver. And he likes Sean Payton, don't get me wrong, but he's like, man, that guy is just all business. And so I think that's just kind of his way he approaches things. So that's just kind of his mantra.
Interesting, man. Hey, there's a Twitter thing going on out there about Zach Tom's knee injury, and I wanted to get your expert opinion. So as we had talked about with Zach Tom, he has a partially torn patellar tendon, and now you got Packers Twitter kind of researching it, and one thing that's being out there is they're quoting the National Institute of Health, where they said on patellar tendon tears in the NFL, 21.4% returned to their prior performance level within 2 years. So you have people freaking out now that Zach Tom is not going to come back or be, a high caliber player anymore. Should we maybe kind of take a step back and calm down and not always look at that stuff? Or is there what are your thoughts on a partially torn patellar tendon and with an offensive lineman trying to come back from that?
Yeah, so great question. So, data is all we have, right? So when we try and make, extrapolations and predict or give people a prognosis, that's a question I deal with every single day. People are like, well, what does this mean? Like, what is my outlook here? And, the problem is every human body is different. Every condition is different. Every person has different things about them, whether it's their medical background, their age, their health, et cetera. But if you even go further back on this one, you actually have to talk about the actual injury that occurred. So a true full patellar tendon rupture is very different than a partial tear like he has. So I would tell you the odds of him bouncing back is really high. I would not give credence to that. So a complete patellar tendon rupture, very different story. That usually is not a very clean. So like Achilles, for example, when they tear, they tend to tear kind of in the central zone. It's a nice piece of tissue on both sides you can repair really well. Often patellar tendons, when they rupture, it's just this like really poor quality. It's like two ends of it. We call it like mop ends. It's literally like these like mop ends that we have to like sew back together. Often it heals like okay, but not perfect. So, patellar tendon ruptures are not ones that, and not always, but often they're just not great tissue. In this circumstance with the partial, he's going to have a lot of really good quality tendon that's still there. I'm just going to tell you, he's not in that same camp. I would say a true full patellar tendon rupture, not a great injury. Partial one like this, I expect a full recovery. I really honestly do. So I would not be too concerned.
All right. I knew we had to ask the expert on that. I feel better now. So one player I'm not feeling great about, more ways than one, is Giannis right now, whether he's going to be with the Bucks or not. But another calf strain. It was to the point where he was able to self-diagnose it and give his own timeline because he's gone through it so many times. But this is another repeat calf injury for Giannis. So is this would chronic be the proper term for this? I'm trying to sound smart here. Because he keeps having them.
Yeah, I mean, recurrent, that'd be better. I mean, if it never went away, it's like if it's like there and it just doesn't go away, that'd be more of a kind of a chronic issue. You don't really get that in muscle or musculotendinous injuries very often. I think this is more just like recurrent injury where it's like, all right, we did it again, we did it again. Obviously, on the outside looking in, some people are speculating this is gamesmanship as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I mean, he seems like he's a true competitor. I don't think that he's doing that. You know, we've talked about this a number of times. I mean, when you have an injury to a muscle belly or the muscle tendon junction, it always heals with scar tissue, right? It doesn't heal with normal muscle or muscle tendon interface. So that always creates essentially a weak spot. Not only a weak spot, but it is like a different modulus of elasticity. So the tissue is just not as loose and limber. So people are absolutely predisposed to recurrent injuries there. Depending on the severity, it can be like, well, this is a problem that's going to keep coming back, or it's just kind of a fluke thing. I mean, when you look at the run of it that he's been dealing with right now, my guess is just not getting all the way over the hump where he's back to that thing. He's a competitive guy, wants to get back out in the court, and maybe he just, feels like he's 100%, but just not fully healed yet. Or it is a spot where it's like, look, that's an area for him. It's just there's enough scar tissue that's developed in that spot that he just has this. Every time he really explodes and that gastroc or the calf muscle, contracts really hard, it's pulling on that interface with the scar, and bam, there he is again. So, I mean, hard to say for sure. I'm sure they're getting MRIs. I'm sure they're doing every treatment known to man. I just, at the end of the day, I wouldn't be overly concerned. I mean, I think in the short term this season, yes. And I know you guys have bigger issues to worry about with him. Like, is he going to still be here? I know there's all sorts of rumor mills. I mean, there's a bunch of T-Wolves fans that are drooling over potential trades. Who knows? I mean, at this point, but to me, short term concern, long term, not a lot of concern.
So this might be a stupid question. The scar tissue, is there a procedure or process to like remove scar tissue or heal it better, or is that just something you have to deal with?
Yeah, I mean, so if you were to go cut it out, you just make more scar tissue develop. So cutting it out surgically, no. Now, there are things you can do to try soften it. So you can try like injections into that area, whether they be like a cortisone injection, whether they be like PRP or stem cell. I mean, those athletes get injections like that in those tissues that sometimes can be helpful, although there's not any strong data to say that that's going to be a guaranteed success by any means. Really, the good old-fashioned way is aggressive stretching, deep tissue massaging, and letting the tissue around it heal and become healthy, and it becomes a more stable interface. So really, I mean, when I have my patients come in with a bad hamstring or gastroc or groin, whatever muscle you're talking about, it's deep tissue massage, like, foam rolling, stretching, and a gradual progression back to activity. And if you go too soon, you risk re-injuring because it's still kind of fresh. So, I mean, are there fancier things? Yes. Is he probably getting those? Absolutely he is. But truthfully, I mean, the bread and butter of it's like, mash it, stretch it, slowly get back. That's really kind of the way to go about it.
So essentially, it's like I don't know if this is a great example. You have a scar, and that scar tissue, right? Like if you have a cut on your hand and such, that's scar tissue, right?
Same thing. Yep, collagen. Yeah, I mean it's basically really all the tissue in our body heals with that collagen based scar. And so whether it's on your skin that you see it, whether it's in your muscle. Now, again, the scar is going to look a little different, and there's going to be a little different makeup. But at the end of the day, it's basically a wad of collagen that our body's like spot welded to heal. It's like there's an injury, the body pulls in cells to try to heal it. Unfortunately, it can't make new muscle the way it was before, so it lays down this like collagen scar. I mean, the only tissue in our body that really truly heals the way it was before is bone, which is, I deal with that day in and out. That's kind of a cool little fact I like to tell little kids. I'm like, when you break your arm, it's going to grow exactly like it was before. Very few parts of our body do that, right? Anywhere else you get a significant injury, you're going to end up with scar tissue there, but bones are different.
Interesting stuff. He's Dr. Austin Crowe, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Appreciate it as always, buddy. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy a weekend off of football, I guess, and then we'll get your expert Super Bowl picks for next week, okay?
That's right. It's going to be a heat wave out there, man. I'm
yeah.
out in a swimsuit, maybe.
Right, exactly. All right. Hey, dude, appreciate it, and we'll catch up soon, okay?
Sounds good.
You got it. There you go. There's Dr. Austin Crowe, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. We'll take a quick break, and we'll welcome our other guy, Mr. Berg, coming up after these few words. Big thanks again to our doc, Dr. Austin Crow, for always joining us every Friday for some Inside the Training Room. Switching gears, and we've got our buddy, Mr. Berg, in studio. Good morning, fine sir. What mic are you on? You're on that one. I thought you had that one over there. My apologies. Try that again. Don't do that, you cheater. Now, do you feel like you're at a press conference?
A little bit.
Yeah?
There, if it makes you feel better, I will take every mic on this side of the table.
That's actually pretty cool. You look like you're a very important person.
First time for everything.
Exactly. So, what are you doing on a football-less weekends? This is okay. So this is where I will say, like, and it really wasn't this way because it was always after, but like the Pro Bowl, if the Pro Bowl was still a thing, sort of like if legitimate? It was fun, like legitimate, yeah, not the. Remember, we always had fun with the topic of like who's been a Pro Bowl quarterback or not,
right,
and now we could say, yeah, Shador.
Shador.
A bunch of them had to have said no, right?
I mean, I'd see it. Yeah, I mean, there's no other way around it.
I mean, it almost is kind of not sort of a Mizorowski comparison.
Right. We just need Ken Rosenthal at the Pro Bowl games asking Shador Sanders if he's a terrible person for accepting the Pro Bowl bid, like he seemingly did with Mizorowski.
Right. So I think Shador would have a different response than.
And honestly, I would like to hear it. I would just like to see that just for entertainment purposes. But
exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
that's one thing I really miss because I always looked forward to it as a kid watching the Pro Bowl. You know, it was. Looking back on it, was it like a very competitive? No, but it was always fun.
Right.
And it's still, as a kid, presented as a football game.
Yeah,
so.
And you saw all of these players.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they at least they gave some modicum of effort.
Yeah. And I just remember, too, it was like, well, at least, you know, for the Packers, well, at least their coaches are in the Pro Bowl. It's kind of like the constellation prize for that for a couple of years there. But, yeah, and I don't know. Baseball is still the best. I would say NHL figured it out, though, too.
The Four Nations Cup, they figured it out. Obviously, the NBA is still kind of rifling through things, trying to figure it out, too. So
I don't think they're going to be able to.
I think it's just it's tough because the physicality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do you – that's the biggest thing is you're just trying to get a similar amount of physicality and effort, and – I think each of them presents certain challenges. Like, it's a blessing, but also a curse to have it in the middle of the year because there's times people want to break. But at the same time, you're still in the midst of it.
Yep.
So that kind of goes back and forth. Like football being at the end of the year, but it's at the end of the year. So at that point, you know, there's so many players that are just like, you know what, I'm good. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, so it's.
I think they just need to call whoever is a Pro Bowler. You don't need the game. You don't need the activities because it's still built-in contract incentives.
Right,
so
yeah,
players,
and it's still something that people are judged upon for, like, the Hall of Fame and stuff, which is now, obviously, with what we know about how the Pro Bowl goes, kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, I mean, we've talked a lot about the Hall of Fame sort of thing, but that's just they're not going to change the vote, right?
No.
They're not going to set that precedent. I can't imagine. Just because it didn't go the way that it should have gone, you're opening up a huge can of worms when it comes to voting process. Oh, we're going to redo it. Yeah, sort of thing.
Right.
But
yeah.
What was your reaction when you first heard that with the Belichick
I think I
thing?
just kind of rolled my eyes because I'm like, look, you know.
I thought it was a joke at first.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't surprise me in that, okay, I could see that there's a certain amount of people that would, you know, do this, make this stand, whatever. Like,
then at least be vocal about.
And that's it. That was kind of the conversation we were kind of having when I got here. Was like, look, if you're gonna have this vote, then man up and at least hold yourself accountable for it. Don't. Well, I don't remember. I'm pretty somehow. Somehow Bill Belichick got the necessary votes if you just ask people off the cuff. And they're like, I'm pretty sure I did. Or you have people like, oh, I don't remember I do not remember who you voted for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Then
they must have forgot who they were, like, that they covered inside. Like, if you are going to use that, then you need to be stripped.
If you can't, either it's one of two things. Either you are lying
Yep.
to save your back because there's a decent chance you didn't, or you are probably in a position where if you don't remember, you don't need to have a vote anymore.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, look, no matter what you think about Bill Belichick, and obviously in the last few years, but the fact is, at the very least, he is the best coach of this era, of the modern era.
And I know they're going to use
the most successful coach of the modern era.
Yes. They're going to use the Spygate. They're going to use Deflategate, and that's going to rub people the wrong way and whatever. But I will say this, though, too. You better hold Brady to that same.
Right.
He did get suspended for Deflategate. So, I mean, if you're going to, you better hold Brady to, and they won't.
Nope.
They won't do that. So it's a double standard at that point. But it's because we talk about Baseball Hall of Fame and, with, first ballots and like how was Babe Ruth not a first ballot? How was
he not unanimous?
Babe
Ruth, but
he was first ballot, but not
wasn't
unanimous.
Like 11 people didn't vote for Babe Ruth on the first ballot for the Hall of Fame.
And like Mariano is still the only unanimous one. It's like that's stupid stuff.
Right.
I hate that.
Because you think about that too. It's like you're telling me Hank Aaron wasn't a unanimous Hall of Famer,
right?
Like, really?
Right. Like, what's the point of this? And like what some writer said, well, nobody should be, a first ballot considered a unanimous or something. So they just kind of, I'm like, what?
That just sounds
that
like
is so ridiculous.
Just sounds like you're trying to use your own like arbitrary viewpoint of like, well, I don't think that's the case. Well,
why is the process so difficult and so like I get it. I think the Pro Football Hall of Fame went a little bit. I know they altered the rules, so it's supposed to be harder for people to get in because I think they were very well aware of people saying, okay, you're letting too many people in, and is it becoming the Hall of Very Good? I know Dion was very vocal about that. But I think this is kind of ridiculous.
Right.
Where you got the extremes. And I understand for some players or some voters, I think one of the voters who came out and said he did not vote for Belichick was essentially because what I thought, that they just assumed that he was going to be a shoo-in.
So they used those votes for somebody else to try to lift somebody else up.
But too many people did that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's right.
No.
But I can see it. We've all maybe done that on a Facebook poll or something like that.
Maybe that's
it's
a little bit more laughable, honestly.
Right.
And
it's like, well, that bit you in the butt.
I was going to say, and I think the other thing, too, is if you get a certain amount of people and ask them something, like I think inevitably there's going to be some variety. Like no one's ever going to have we're very rarely going to have a consensus on anything, even if it's something obvious.
Yeah.
And this is, to me, is very, very obvious. You can use the dated example of, back in the day when you'd have like toothpaste commercial and they say 9 out of 10 dentists recommend, Crest. It's like, well, what about that one that doesn't? Like, well, why would he?
It's the commercial with the squirrel like biting him and yelling no.
Yeah, like why is there 1 out of 10 dentists?
Yeah, what did that one have to say?
Yeah, are they not a Crest person? Are they a Mentadent fan or something? Or?
Right. Yeah, it's ridiculous, and I hate it because I always thought one of the coolest things would be to be like a Hall of Fame voter.
Yeah.
And this just kind
it's a tremendous responsibility.
Mm-hmm. I would love to be in one of those rooms and just hear the discussion back and forth.
Right.
With it, but now it kind of like I go back to Pete Daugherty, who covers the Packers, because every team has or every city or every team has a representative, if you will, like a writer or such. And I remember when Favre was up, and Peter King talked about it, because when Peter King was still writing, he would like go over who had the most amount of debate time wise and that. And Pete apparently just literally stood up. I present Brett Favre and sat down to save time from a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Now you're wondering, can people continue to do something like that? Like with Bill Belichick coming in, do you take the risk of whoever presented him? Because I remember Peter King saying they really appreciate that because you're not wasting time on a shoe-in.
Right. You're giving more time and discussion for maybe people that are a little bit more on the fringe.
Right. And now it's like maybe you don't take that for granted. Now when Tom Brady, because I would think Tom Brady would be a similar thing, but now it's like, okay, do you have to address that and convince that? So it just made it a lot more difficult.
Yeah,
so.
It's.
All right, let's take a quick break. I want to talk some more baseball, though, as we are inching closer and closer to spring training. We'll be right back after these quick words. If you want to head to the Brewers home opener with Wisco Trips, you can. Just head to either wiscotrips.com or our website, sportstalk1051.com, to reserve your seat on the bus to the Brewers home opener against the Chicago White Sox on March 26th. All the details that you need and to get your tickets are at wiscotrips.com or at sportstalk1051.com. Your game ticket is on the Johnsonville party deck. It includes food and beverages, so you save a little money over there too. Plus the tailgate party from Premier Catering and round trip motor coach transportation, so you don't have to even worry about driving and such. So again, get it. We got a few. Looks like there's a few left. So if you want to get your seat on the bus, it's officially less than 2 months away for the Brewers home opener between the Crew and the White Sox. So, all right, Brandon, how are you? I don't think I had you. All right, there we go. So I had a wrong button pushed. Don't know if anybody heard you or not. So what? See, this was the nice thing when last week's show, when you were on the phone, didn't have to look at your face and do those, kind of weird looks that you always give me. So, but baseball wise, we're less than 2 weeks from pitchers and catchers reporting. So,
I believe so.
I don't know if you had a chance to read Adam McCulvey's mailbag where he talked a little bit with Pat Murphy and some quotes on there and such, but he kind of indicated that he'd still like the team to maybe get another veteran pitcher to add to the mix, which, correct me if I'm wrong, they added Quintana while they were in spring training because he'd missed the first turn or two in the regular season, right?
It was later on in the process of the offseason. So, yeah, no, I honestly, I would still expect that. I mean, not necessarily that's going to be Quintana, but like,
would it need to be a lefty, do you think, just because they're so righty heavy?
I don't think it would need to be, but it wouldn't hurt. Like, you just want to have that little bit of that mix. I mean, even if it was just bringing Jose Quintana back for another year, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I mean,
right.
You kind of know what he is at this point, but, I mean, I think he was a good fit there as far as what he brought to the table as far as production goes, as well as just being a kind of a veteran in the room. And, with Freddie Peralta obviously being traded, maybe, if you bring him back, that's just a – not just a veteran, but a veteran for the, for some of those younger pitchers to kind of lean on. Because you got Brandon Woodruff, but besides that, you've got a really young group.
Yeah. So the other part in there he kind of talks about, which is something that you have brought up, but said he wanted to keep his contract stuff private. But it was something that he said he's not worried about, which, again, I don't think we're going to expect any other type of answer and such at this point. But so it is now kind of being thrown out there, and we're getting close. I mean, is that something that you're going to – I can't imagine them moving on, especially since Ricky Weeks, which I think we thought was maybe going to be the natural – progression to that, now that he's back in the front office and they don't really have that bench coach manager, even though it kind of maybe sounds like Henderson's the closest one to it. I can't imagine them not wanting Pat Murphy. I mean, they're going to have to give him a pay raise. I mean, that's a given, right? They're going to have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would agree. I mean, I'm trying to think of the situation where they would like move on from Pat Murphy, but it would almost be like if Pat Murphy is retiring, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and he said he wants to keep going.
Yeah,
so.
And I mean, you haven't seen anything that would suggest that he is, running out of gas or anything. So I don't know. Like maybe it's going to be a question at the start of spring training if it's not done. I mean, it's going to be asked at some point.
Right. Yeah, and that's the other part too. It's like I'd rather have it get done so it's not a distraction or it's not, being talked a lot about. I don't know if that's part of the reason with this whole Bucks thing that, the whole Giannis, does he want out? Does he not? Does he want to stay? Is that become a distraction? We've talked about it because his teammates have to answer for it. I mean, is it just becoming this huge cloud over the team? And we're going to talk more about that coming up later on, but I'd rather have it get done so you don't have to worry about it or talk about it.
Really. Right. And specifically with the people that, they don't really have a say in the matter.
Right. Yeah. Right. So I do think, though, the success that Pat Murphy has had has caught them by surprise. Maybe Well, I think if you were to ask them, they'd probably say no, or they'd probably say, yeah, we thought we were going to be. But I think in truth, to say manager of the year back to back,
right?
I don't think anybody would have thought that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So earlier in the week, I was talking some projections and such when it came to Mizorowski and Brandon Woodruff, and I want to get your thoughts. So this is Baseball Reference projections, and I don't know. I kind of thought they were pretty low. For Mizorowski, they projected for 2026, 6-5 record, 4.05 ERA, just 91 innings pitched. If that was actually the line that we get from Miz this year, is that disappointing?
Probably. I mean, I think mostly from the innings, too. I mean, there could be injuries or other stuff that pop up. But I think the thing, too, with a lot of times projections, projection systems tend to be pretty conservative.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not seeing a projection system projecting Shohei Ohtani to hit 60 home runs, even though it's very possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just how they tend to be. So I think that's probably going to be part of it, too. And, you're also not a lot of times seeing, really younger, newer to the majors players kind of right away kind of being, a star or, like emerging right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For just kind of a reference point here, too, because I did a few other players on here, too. For Chad Patrick, they do have 115 innings pitched for him, a 4-7 record, 3.76 ERA. Brandon Woodruff, they've got 92 innings pitched, 7-4 record with 3.62 ERA.
I mean, I think you could say that if they got less than 100 innings from both Woodruff and Mizorowski, that you would really kind of be wondering, okay, where are these innings coming from then?
Right. I think when I looked up Quinn Priester, it was over 100 innings, those type of guys. But I think for what should be for Mizorowski, what should be a fair expectation, do you think, for him this year? Is it double wins? I always get nervous about.
Yeah, wins is always tough because, wins is something that, in many ways it's kind of out of a pitcher's control because
right.
they can't, you could give up 3 runs in 6 innings or 5 innings, but you don't know if your offense is going to give you 1 run or if they're going to give you 8 runs.
Right. So that's where it's like, is it ERA? Is it the total innings?
Yeah, I would say ERA is probably, maybe a little bit closer, but looking at Mizorowski last year, trying to, he had a total of 120. It looks like 129, and then I don't think this is also including playoffs, so probably about 135, 140 innings.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was a big jump up. The year before he had 97 innings. So, trying to remember the old rule of thumb of like, because of how many innings you can kind of bump up, or teams like to bump up. I don't know if it's 15% or what, but like, you're suddenly not going to see somebody go from throwing 20 or 60 innings to throwing 200 innings usually.
Right.
So, at this point, Mizorowski, if he's healthy and, having success, he should be able to throw, 150, 160 innings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's, to me, I'm just wondering, I feel like he was a guy last year that got, he started off really hot, but then everything came hot and heavy. He just kind of just need to catch his breath. And then the playoffs, he was awesome coming out of the pen. So I'm really curious to see how he kind of begins the season. Does he kind of pick up where he left off in that postseason run, or is he going to be still kind of erratic at times throughout the season? I don't know. And one more really quick before we have to take a break. Jackson Chirio entering year 3 now. His projections were they had 19 stolen bases, 21 home runs, which is kind of what he had. And I know a lot of people had higher expectations heading into year 2 for him, talking about maybe a 30-30 guy. Injuries, I think, affected that a little bit. You're not really hearing, at least I'm not, 30-30 type of numbers for Jackson Chirio, but is year 3 an important year of growth for him to maybe take that next step? Like, okay, that is the dude, that is the clear-cut best player, leader on this team, or the fact that he's still only 22 years old, that might still be premature?
No, I think it's, I think it's a good question to look at, or a good thing to look at now, because he's played 100 and, nearly, gosh, it's got to be close to 190 games, or 290 games when you include playoff games. So,
yeah,
like, that's a decent sample size. And, yeah, he's still young. I mean, he's even still entering his third year, 22. That's an age where most people are at AA or AAA.
Right.
But no, I think I think the third year, settled in. I would honestly expect a decent step forward. Last year, even if it wasn't as good as the first year by some numbers, still it wasn't a significant step back.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think I would just kind of like to see just a little bit more consistency. Maybe building off the patience a little bit, especially if he's going to be hitting in the top part of the order somewhere, just to be a little bit more of an on-base threat as well.
Right.
Because the other parts of the game are there.
Right. Yeah. All right, we got to take a quick break. We're actually going to change it up a little bit because we're going to hear from our new Backyard Dreams partners. So we're going to learn a little bit more about Superior Auto Body coming up right after these quick words. It's always great when we have new partners join our family here at Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM. And this one's just a little extra special because we've got some new partners that are supporting Backyard Dreams, which is our charity entity where we want to help make dreams come true for people in our community, especially kids and such. And I'm very, very, very excited to introduce our new friends, our new family members from Superior Auto Body. So, guys, I'll let you guys introduce yourselves first to everybody listening right now.
I'm Nick Piper, co-owner of Superior Auto Body, here with my wife.
Jen Piper.
Nice. The Pipers?
Yes.
Can we call it? Okay.
The Pipers,
so,
yes.
the
Yeah.
Pipers. So, well, first of all, you guys, thank you so much for hopping on board and supporting Backyard Dreams. If you don't mind me asking, what was it about Backyard Dreams that kind of caught your attention and you wanted to help out?
Well, I've been listening to your show for several years now. I really like the idea of you helping out the community. Both Jen and I played sports growing up. Me from Little League through high school, even did a little CRBL ball. Wasn't so great at it, but I did that. Jen did some gymnastics and volleyball. So it was just kind of something that we were thinking about, what can we give back to help out? Maybe a family or individual that just needed a little bit of help to fulfill their dreams.
And, you mentioned baseball and such too, and that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish right now. We're trying to get some kids to pay for their registration fees for Little League, and try to get them out on the baseball field too. So would you say baseball was playing a little bit your main go-to sport?
Yeah, baseball, football, whatever we can help out with.
Yeah.
But, literally anything.
Yeah, definitely. So, tell us, because you're with Superior Auto Body. So how long have you guys been involved with Superior, or how long have you owned Superior Auto Body?
So we bought Superior Auto Body in June 20th of 2025.
Okay.
I'm on my 18th year of working there.
Okay.
And Jen, how long have you been there?
4 years.
4 years?
Yep.
Okay.
So we pretty much we know the ins and outs of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I've been in this business for 26 years, but 18 at Superior.
At Superior Auto Body. So what is it that, with your service, or kind of give us a breakdown of some of the services that you do provide at Superior Auto Body?
So our main focus is collision work. Big one through the winter is people sliding into each other or
Yep.
deer hits, a lot of deer hits. But we do everything if you need anything done. Cosmetically, our collision work. That's our main focus.
Collision-wise, deer-wise, especially, Wisconsin, right? That's going to be happening quite a bit.
It's constant.
It's constant. So what is the best way if somebody's listening right now and, insurance companies get involved too, right? Is that something that you guys, kind of help the customers out with or what's that process like?
Yeah, we work with every single insurance company. We have a very good CSR. His name's Ken. If you can just give us a call and he can walk you through it. Or if you contact your insurance company and you tell them you want it to be done at our location, the insurance company sends us the information and we get the ball rolling.
Nice. So I got to get a little lightning round question for you guys because every newbie that steps in the studio gets lightning round questions. So if you guys are ready these are the tough ones.
Yep.
All right. Favorite food?
Pizza.
Seafood.
Seafood? All right. So pizza, does pineapple belong on it?
I don't know.
100%.
No.
Yes.
Man, that's very divided in here. It's a big one. We do a Blue Golds podcast, and that's always our go-to question for the Blue Golds is does pineapple belong? It actually made to a classroom discussion one time. So, but very divided. I'm not for it.
I am.
So if we do it, I pick the pineapple off put it on hers.
Perfect. Nice. So we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but favorite sport, if you had to pick one, maybe either to watch.
Football to watch.
Football. Favorite team?
Packers.
Nice.
Yep.
All right. I like it. Favorite activity to do during your downtime, maybe just to kind of get away.
Bow hunting.
Nice.
Probably the same.
Nice.
Yep.
All right. Did you guys have any luck this past season?
No. I don't
She's-
think we even got out.
Not
Unfortunately,
one
super
day.
busy.
Yeah.
We'll just buy in the shop. Usually we get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. If you just bought a business, probably pretty crazy
Yeah, it
busy
was-
and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So, favorite movie? Do you guys got a favorite movie?
Shawshank.
Nice.
Probably. Yeah, Legends of the Fall.
Legends of the Fall. All right. Nice one. How about favorite style of music?
Country for me.
Country.
Do you got a favorite artist?
Not really.
No?
No.
All right. That's good.
I like
yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
area to have country music, be a country music listener, right?
Yeah.
So, where are you guys originally from?
Eau Claire for
Eau
me.
Claire?
Yeah.
Osceola.
Okay. So, still around the area too. So,
Yep.
last question. What was the last thing maybe you binge watched or streamed, like Hulu, Netflix, or anything like that?
Definitely a documentary type of thing.
Yes. I just
What's
got done
the-
watching the Elizabeth Smart one documentary.
Was it the staircase or something?
Oh,
I
I've
think
seen
so.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Staircase.
I didn't get to watch that one yet. So, but
That one gets
documentaries,
dragged out
I'm
a little bit, but
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm a nerd when it comes to documentaries.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I got to binge that. So, so again, just to kind of wrap it up here with the, what you guys do with the community, has that always been a goal of yours when you maybe started the business or throughout your whole life? You just wanted to help out the community as much as possible.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was right from the
Yeah.
get-go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's always just something that you've or aspired to try to help out with.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yep, our employees in the community was their number one focus. So
that's awesome. That's amazing. So for anybody listening too, if they want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get a hold of Superior Auto Body?
let's probably just call us, talk to Ken.
Yep. Yep. Just
yeah.
call the front office.
Front office.
Yeah.
All right. And website too. Check out your website a little bit, but probably just give you a quick phone call.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. That's the
We'll see
easiest
how
way.
fast the website gets done.
Nice. So, all right. Well, you guys, again, thank you so much for becoming part of our family now, because you guys are now family members, and a big thanks for supporting Backyard Dreams so that we can help out a lot of kids chase their dreams and passions, play a little league or whatever the thing, whatever their hobbies are and such. So a big thanks for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You got it. All right. And again, a big thanks to our friends from Superior Auto Body, now the presenting sponsors for Backyard Dreams. And speaking of Backyard Dreams, save the date, August 7th, Friday, August 7th, for our golf outing back at Lake Hallie Golf Course. So we'll have sign up and stuff up at a later date, but I just wanted to throw out a save the date so you guys and gals can put out your work requests for the day off and hang out with us at the golf course. So is it the 6th? Was last year the 5th? Do you remember? I
don't remember offhand.
was trying to gauge that in my mind. I can't remember.
It was the 5th. Wait. It was the 1st last year?
It was the 1st last year.
Yeah, because of the way the...
No, I'm talking like 6th annual.
Oh, yeah.
Is this the 6th annual one?
I think so, because was the first one 21?
I think so.
1,
That
2,
makes
3,
sense.
4, 5, 6. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was, but I wasn't quite sure. So, but yeah, that's going to be kind of a thing. So you can always plan it. We try to shoot for the first Friday of August.
Yeah.
So I know last year was the first, but it's just how it kind of lined
Just
up.
how things fall.
Yep. So try to get it before high school football really gets into the full swing and before a lot of people are back at school and such. So, all right, shot clock's going to cut me off. We'll have 2 hours in, 2 more to go. It'll be halftime. We're going to kick it off with a little cream of the crop. And then let's do some local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. And then we've got the AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. We'll get to that after we do some local sports roundup. 2 in, 2 more to go. We'll be right back after these news updates. All right, halftime is over with. The third hour officially is kicking off right now. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to do our Carpet City Flooring Center local sports roundup. After that, it'll be the AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. But let's kick it off with a little cream of the crop this morning. Brandon, who's your cream of the crop?
I'm still disappointed that you haven't got the Macho Man sound in.
Sue me.
I will. I will see you in court. I'm actually gonna go, and maybe this will surprise some people. It shouldn't. I'm gonna go Sam Darnold.
Okay.
Like obviously this is a kind of an interesting point of contention for Vikings fans. I'm happy for the guy. Like even when he was in Minnesota, even now, like he's done nothing that would ever like make you mad at him. Like, he obviously he got a bigger opportunity in Seattle, and he's taken it and run with it. Like, I mean, for a guy that I think came in the league at 20, so by like age 22, everyone was convinced was just a total bum and a bust. Like, I mean, he's pulled himself up to the point where obviously he's what any team wants. He's a quarterback that you can see is capable of taking a team to a Super Bowl.
I was like, what my comment was going to be, for those Vikings fans who maybe don't like Sam, do you fault him? Like, what did he do?
What did he do wrong?
Right.
He didn't do anything wrong. Like,
yeah.
He hasn't.
It's not like maybe he went to Green Bay and did this or something, right?
Right. Or he was, on his way out the door, he was saying things about the team or the organization or the fans. I mean, he's never said anything negative about the team.
Right.
Like he went, obviously the Vikings had a plan and it didn't really involve him. He went somewhere else and made his own, and kind of, forged his own legacy. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, just good on him.
Yep. My cream of the crop, just because I'm falling into it, I'm going to go Mike McCarthy, man. Gets to how many dudes, and we literally talked about this on Friday. I think you and I both thought it wasn't going to happen, but they actually did it. And I'm not saying Steelers hired Mike McCarthy because he's Pittsburgh and all that. But what a cool story. And I know it's not all about the stories. They're bringing him in to win. But to be able to go at the back end of your career, probably his final stop as a head coach, to do it with your hometown team. And then you can look at his resume and say he was the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Name another coach that could compete with that. I don't think you can. And yes, obviously just one Super Bowl with Green Bay. Dallas, that one was just weird. A weird situation. Like, he didn't do anything, I don't think, that deserved to be fired, in my opinion, at least. But if he wins with Pittsburgh, I think he seriously has. Now, the Hall of Fame is kind of a weird thing with coaches. I understand that. And I would say Mike Shanahan should have already been in. Mike Holmgren should have already been in. So it is incredibly hard, obviously, with coaches to get in. But I will argue, if he does win a Super Bowl with Pittsburgh, he has Hall of Fame credentials. But I think it's such a cool story. We don't see this a whole lot in terms of like sport. And obviously, if you watch the presser, you can definitely tell it meant a lot. But I didn't think it was going to happen. And I'll say this though too. Good on Pittsburgh for not just, hey, we've always done it with our three coaches. We got to go do this route. I think it was smart on their part to, hey, we got to figure out a quarterback. We got to maybe find somebody who's proven to help develop quarterbacks. Say what you want about Mike McCarthy, but he does have that track record. He has that. And to the people who still say, well, he got lucky because he had Aaron and Favre, then you didn't pay attention. I'm sorry. He had a huge hand in developing Aaron Rodgers into the quarterback that he had or became. So, what was the other point I was going to mention on there too? And I just completely forgot because you're giving me a weird look again. So you're distracted.
I'm actually not even trying to give you a weird look. That's just how my face
your
looks.
Your resting gaze.
That's just how my face looks, sir.
Your resting gaze. So, no, I think it's, they're bringing back James Campman. Scott Tolzien's interviewing for the offensive coordinator. Aaron, come on now. Let's run it back, for 1 year. I'm not one to cheer for other teams, but I got no problem to have a little soft spot for Pittsburgh. So
Plus, Packers aren't going to have to play the Steelers this year
Correct.
in 2026. So
Correct. Unless it's in
they
the Super
can
Bowl.
be your AFC team.
Unless it's in the Super Bowl again.
You can have an AFC team.
It would be like when Favre was with the Jets, and I kind of did have an AFC team that year. And that was the year that Brady got hurt right away, too.
Yeah,
so
right,
you
like
didn't
week
have
one,
to.
yeah.
It was the Matt Castle era, and they still won. That's the thing, too. I will say this about everybody says Bill Belichick didn't do anything without Tom Brady. He did win 11 games with Matt Castle as quarterback. I'll just throw that
And
out
didn't
there.
he make the playoffs with Mac Jones
He did.
before things
He
went
did.
off the rails for him?
And I think a lot of that is because somebody asked me this. I wouldn't vote him in for general manager.
No.
I'm voting him in for coach.
Right.
He was an awful general manager. Coach, yeah, pretty decent. So
Not bad.
not bad at all. But all right, let's do some local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Looks like we're going to begin with some hoops basketball.
Yes. The Western Clover Belt last night, we can start where I was, which is a big game in the West with Fall Creek and Stanley Boyd. Fall Creek with the 71-59 win. So those two teams split the regular season series. Stanley Boyd won the matchup early in the season, but now you've got a situation where you've got Fall Creek and Regis both at one loss, tied atop the conference. But the unique thing there is Stanley Boyd has played its 4 matchups against Regis and Fall Creek, split with both. Fall Creek and Regis have yet to play. I don't know if I think maybe there was a reschedule in there or something, but obviously that's kind of a abnormality there. But those two teams will play, I think it's like twice within a week here coming up. So obviously Stanley Boyd would like to see those teams split. That would be the best way for them to potentially grab a share of the conference title. Otherwise, if either Regis or Fall Creek wins both those matchups, that's definitely the inside track.
Mm-hmm.
But also the thing too, when you're talking about both Regis and Fall Creek, is those are 2 Division IV teams for the postseason. So that's also, those matchups are going to loom large for postseason seeding and maybe how things develop there as well. So Stanley Boyd in Division III this year. So that's kind of what you're looking at. You got Elk Mound who stayed in. They definitely stayed within striking distance. They've got 2 losses as well with a double overtime win over Bloomer last night. So those are kind of your top contenders in the Western Clover Belt. Big Rivers, you had a little bit of action last night. River Falls picking up a win over Chippewa Falls. You also had Hudson defeat Menominee, but right now, River Falls and Hudson, surprisingly, tied atop the conference. So I believe they played recently, but then they'll have another matchup I think coming up here in a little while. So those are right now the top 2 teams with New Richmond and Eau Claire Memorial kind of hanging out in the waiting in the wings. So we will see how that goes. As now we're a couple days away from February. So
Yeah.
And boys basketball for the middle border, you got Altoona right now sitting at 10-3. They are tied for second with Osceola in the middle border with St. Croix Central up top, and all those teams along with Stanley Boyd in Division III for the postseason. So we'll kind of see how that pecking order works out when that time comes. But we're kind of getting down to crunch time here. We're second half of the season on the boys' end. So. Girls' end of things, we can start with the Big Rivers there. Eau Claire Memorial a few weeks ago picked up that big win in the last minute over Rice Lake. They're still unbeaten in Big Rivers play. They're 8-0, Rice Lake 9-1. So that'll be a matchup along with Hudson as well.
Yeah.
I would say Hudson also another 1-loss team, but those teams will match up again here coming up in the coming weeks. So those are your 3 big time heavyweight contenders in the Big Rivers. And tonight you got Memorial hosting New Richmond, you got Hudson hosting Menominee, and you got River Falls hosting Chippewa Falls. So going back to Tuesday a little bit earlier this week, a big win in the Western Clover for Bloomer, handing McDonald its first conference loss. So now there's a couple teams with 1 conference loss in the Western Clover Belt. McDonald at 9-1, Regis at 8-1. You got Bloomer at 7-3, so they're still in the hunt. They need a little help there, but still they play Regis. I believe that's tonight. So. And that's the matchup. Bloomer hosting Regis. You also got Cadott hosting McDonald, and then Stanley Boyd making the trip to Elk Mound. So those are some key matchups here with that second McDonald versus Regis matchup looming next Thursday. That'll be at McDonald. McDonald won the first out meeting there, so obviously, assuming both those teams make it through tonight with a win, which is no easy task. Cadott's coming off a big win over Fall Creek. Obviously, I just mentioned Bloomer beat McDonald. So, but right now those are the two teams at the top of the conference. Regardless of even what happens tonight, that matchup next Thursday with those two teams at McDonald will be a big one for, kind of ultimately who's in the driver's seat in the Western Clover Belt. So, as we, we're getting to the point now where we got, I think, 2 or 3 weeks maybe left of the girls' basketball regular season. So, and both those teams are part of a jam-packed Division IV section that features just a ton of really good teams. I mean, you factor in Neelsville, you factor in Cameron, you factor in Colfax in the top half of that one too. I mean, Fall Creek is, a better team than it was at the start of the year, getting healthier. So, but then if you look at the middle border, Ball and Woodville, they were in the sectional finals last year. They're tied at the top of the conference. In the middle border was St. Croix Central. You got Prescott and Altoona, with winning records in conference play. So, basketball, the calendar, obviously the calendar, is it Sunday that changes to February?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, we're getting down to it. We're only a few weeks away from starting to see some of these postseason, pairings come out. And remember that now that's done electronically by there's a formula WIA has, so there's no seeding meetings for basketball anymore. So
that's right.
So, every one of these wins, in some ways, I feel like you can also consider it to be a little bit more important because it's going into this formula versus in the past you always had coaches, having the conversation and stuff where, basically it's all about the numbers, and obviously the more wins you get, the more that helps your numbers. So hockey, not a whole lot's changed, I would say, as far as hockey goes. Big Rivers, Hudson still unbeaten at the top. They're the cream of the crop, so to speak. Hey-o. But I mean, they're on the verge here of clinching the outright conference championship. They're 3 games up on River Falls with 4 games to go. So obviously you can do the math and see that the Raiders are pretty close there. So on the girls' end of things, similar story where you got St. Croix Valley, but you got Eau Claire area right there, a game back at 4-2. So I mean, those are really your 2 prime contenders right now, I would say, on the girls' end of things. Eau Claire area Monday picked up a 2-1 win, I believe, in double overtime. It was over Chippewa Falls Menominee. So, those, we're not that far removed hockey postseason either. I mean, last year ECA made that run to state. It's that I think I have a feeling that section is going to be a battle royale again, where every year it always seems like you can never fully count out a lower seeded team. Just because you're the 1 seed or the 2 seed doesn't mean you're really guaranteed of anything. It always seems like it's a 3 or 4 seed that's emerging out of that section. So, but we got there's some big games coming up there as well. So, wrestling, obviously we are very close to the postseason in wrestling. I know tonight Menominee hosts the Whitetail. Actually tonight and tomorrow. Tonight for the guys and tomorrow for the girl, or tonight for the boys, tomorrow for the girls. Menominee's hosting its Whitetail Invite, which is always a big later season tournament for them. A lot of duels going on, that kind of stuff. So, we're getting pretty close. Early this week, I believe we had the Big Rivers Conference Championships for girls wrestling. So,
okay,
we're coming up here pretty quick on the wrestling postseason. We'll talk about that more in the next week or two. But a little bit of a change this year where girls still are going by the regional sectional format, but boys this year are going by the, there's just one week of postseason tournament as far as, I think you can call it like a super sectional if you want, but then there's actually a week off in between that and state for individuals, where they actually have the team sectionals. Usually it was the Tuesday after regionals. Now it's actually that Saturday in between. So, if when the time comes, if you're a wrestler and you make it to the individual state tournament, you're actually going to have 2 weeks of preparation, which is a little bit different. But, this was a change that was made. And, so it'll be very interesting to see how that works out. But, we're getting down to it.
Interesting. All right. We've got some stuff here on the calendar for this weekend. No hoops for Blue Gold and Stout and such, but we've got for the Blue Golds, if we're looking at it, hockey. Going to be taking on Superior. Swimming and diving is going to be taking on Whitewater. Men's hockey, by the way, taking on Superior. So also on the docket, women's gymnastics going to be taking on Western Michigan coming up on the first. Indoor track and field season's also happening. Wrestling's going to be at the Pete Wilson Wheaton Invite for Stout. They're going to be indoor track and field as well. The men's track and field Warren Bolus Open in Menominee. So, and then men's hockey for UW Stout. They're going to be taking on Beloit College, it looks like, that's tonight, and that's tomorrow. So, and then gymnastics also is going to be taking on Hamlin University tonight at UW Stout. So, just a quick look at where things are at for the Blue Golds and the Blue Devils for UW Stout. That's your local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. We'll take a quick break, and then it's time for a little AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle coming up after these quick words. Before we get to our AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle, Brandon, kind of a little local thing that just popped a little bit ago, but we've got a local player that's going to be playing in the World Baseball Classic.
All right, yeah, Taran Vobber, the Menominee native. He is going to be playing for the Czech Republic. So, yeah, that was officially announced a little bit earlier today. So he's going to, he's going to kind of get a chance to show what he can do on the world stage. I mean, he's a guy he's a free agent right now. Spent a lot of time with the Orioles. Also, bounced around a little bit. I believe it was with the Mariners. But yeah, he's someone that's gonna, he's a versatile guy. I mean, he's gonna get. It looks like kind of based on how that roster's coming together, he's gonna be someone that's gonna go there with a chance to play. I'm sure also maybe the opportunity to kind of get his name back out there a little bit. I mean, you have a good, if you have a good WBC, obviously that maybe that can help him, pick up a spring training invite or something like that somewhere. But yeah, it's really cool. I mean, that's the WBC is just a really cool event, and the chance to kind of represent your heritage a little bit there is a really cool opportunity. So that's gonna maybe give some people here in the Chippewa Valley a little bit of a rooting interest besides the old US of A, or maybe some of those teams that's got the players that you like there to cheer for.
Because I think was it Cheerio just got added
to Venezuela.
To Venezuela. Yep. So
Bryce Trang's playing for USA.
Like
I think Tyler Black is playing for Team Canada, I believe.
Yeah, isn't Caleb Durbin's going to be playing with, was it Great Britain, I think, or something like that? But yeah, it seemed like USA announced their team right away. And
right. Some of the other ones, I'm sure you had there's some other things they had to kind of go through just to make sure that people were good to go for it. But yeah, that's coming up. I believe it's a March.
Yeah. So. All right, it is time for the AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Vroom Vroom Throttle. That's my sound effect.
Oh, vroom vroom throttle.
Vroom vroom vroom. Pump the brakes full throttle. Giannis will be traded by next week's deadline.
I'm gonna pump the brakes. I think that's an off-season thing. I just think you have more things to work with in the off-season, where you have more opportunities for draft capital. I think you probably have more teams that feel like they're maybe a threat in there. And yeah, I would just kind of prefer. Honestly, I would prefer it that way.
Yeah.
This is something where so far all of the reports are okay. The Bucks are asking for a big return, and good. They absolutely should. This is not something that they should, kind of do in a week and then just kind of move on from it. Like, nope. I have no problem at all. I think that's what's going to happen.
So it sounds like you are also resigned to the fact that it's going to happen.
I think so at this point. I think it. We've just it's kind of come to the end of that road, so to speak, where, there's just. There's been this team they haven't been able to kind of retool around him and in a way that works. They've tried. You got to give them credit. They've tried a couple different ways. It's just, it's not clicking for whatever reason. It hasn't worked. And so, at this point, a clean break might be needed. Yeah. And honestly, it might be needed for the fact that I would rather have it done that way than have it linger to the point where people start to dislike Giannis.
Yeah.
I would
kind of like what it was with Aaron towards the end with Green Bay, maybe, where I think, a lot of us were like, just go.
Right. Yeah. Just don't even get to that point. Just look, you appreciative. I mean, Giannis, it's not a stretch to say that Giannis saved pro basketball in the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But, it's just obviously it's not compatible anymore. So you trade him while you still can and get a good return for it, and you just kind of, move forward.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think in the way the NBA rules work too, where more draft picks are going to be available after the season for teams to trade. I don't know how much the calf injury affects it right now with some of the talks.
Yeah, and I just think it works out well. I mean, you just kind of run it out now. At the end of the year, you just make a clean break. You trade Giannis. You dump Doc. You just kind of you reset.
Yeah. Pump the brakes, full throttle. Then you sit Giannis for the rest of the year and tank.
Yes, I would say full throttle. And that's at this point I've kind of moved on. If I say, hey, the Bucks lost last night to the Wizards, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
No, at this point, it's
12 wins for the Wizards, and 3 of them have come against the Bucks. I mean, for crying out loud.
I had to look this up. But the year that the Bulls won 72 games, didn't the Bucks have one of those wins?
Probably.
I believe they did. I believe it was just some. Obviously that was not a great Bucks team either. But sometimes that stuff happens. But still, at this point, just full speed ahead. I'm all in on being a tank commander here. Let's go. Choo-choo.
From all accounts, the experts, it seems like it's a a lot could change. A decent draft too. So
Yeah.
Maybe.
And the Bucks actually have control of their draft pick.
Right. Which
I think there's a swap in there. There's something, but they're like,
there's like a Pelicans thing in there, isn't it, or something?
Yeah, they're like, but still, like they should have a pretty, if they're in the lottery, like for the first time in a long time, like they should have a pretty decent opportunity to add a player near the top of the draft.
Yeah. Yep. So we're in agreement, man.
So here's the thing, Adam Silver, since I know you're listening, the Bucks are going to be trading Giannis. Maybe you throw them a bone come lottery time.
That extra ping pong ball in there
maybe,
or something.
maybe. Hey, it gets pretty cold this time of year in Milwaukee. Maybe that one ping pong ball is just a little bit colder.
Just saying.
Finds a way to make its way in the hop, shoot out the hopper. Just throwing that out there.
Update. No.
Update.
All right, let's go. Pump the brakes, full throttle. I don't know how else to word this, so I'm just going to word it this way. This has been one of the most weird NFL hiring coaching cycles in recent memory.
I'm gonna go full throttle.
So you know where I'm getting at with this?
Yeah, like there's just a lot of
because these are the hires. Harbaugh to the Giants, Jesse Minter to the Ravens, which I think was
that's fair.
Stefanski to the Falcons, Robert Saleh to the Titans, Joe Brady, Buffalo Bills, Jeff Hafley, Miami, Mike McCarthy, Pittsburgh, Todd Monken to Cleveland, and no idea what the Cardinals are doing. I think everybody's assuming that Kubiak's probably target number one for the Raiders. Mm-hmm. If it's Mike LaFleur for the Cardinals, I mean, for crying out loud, I don't know. This is a mixture of, you got 3 first-time head coaches with Hafley and Brady and Minter, and then retreads, including a third time for Mike McCarthy here. Definitely weird.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Yeah. And a lot of them. I mean, this has just been a very busy cycle.
I guess Todd Monken's technically a first time or two, but he's just a veteran.
Yeah, he's been a long time coach. Yeah. And now Jim Schwartz isn't happy, so might have lost your defense.
I swear, if Jim Schwartz goes to the 49ers, I'm going to be pissed. That everybody's kind of alluding to right now.
Yeah, I'm
pissed.
I would not surprise me.
I'm just going to be what? Come on. Like, this is the thing that boggles me. Like, I feel like he's got a personality that we saw it when he was a head coach with the Lions and that.
Yeah.
Probably rubs
prickly.
people. Yeah.
A little prickly.
But results speak for themselves.
Right, yeah. Say what you want about his personality, but he knows defense. He's a very good defensive mind.
Like, why wouldn't our teams, we want that? I just,
Now they want Tom Monken.
Well, even when Philly had him and they won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles as their quarterback, and then he jumps around all over. Is it just wear off that quick where it's gotta move on?
Yes, always kind of wears out his welcome, I guess.
Yeah,
but you would think the success he always has would give him a little bit more wiggle room.
Right. So I don't know, but some team's going to be very happy with him as a defense coordinator for at least a year.
Yeah,
for at least 1 year. But this has definitely been a weird. I have no idea what the Cardinals are doing. I mean, my prediction technically is still alive.
So is mine, but...
Who was yours again?
Mine was Vance Joseph.
Okay. See, mine was Thomas Brown from the Patriots, so that's... But the Mike LaFleur one is really... I know he's offensive coordinator, but, I mean, was it Shieldhouse is getting more pub, and I don't know. I just... Between those two, let's say if you're Kubiak,
Raiders.
And you get to choose... Yeah, okay.
Because not only because they're going to draft Francisco Mendoza.
Yep.
But also, if you look at what they've done with the Seahawks this year, as far as kind of what they look for there, you go to the Raiders. First of all, you got a ton of cap room, but also, you feel like Gary Kubiak. He's kind of Gary's kid, but Clint Kubiak stands a decent chance to get more of Ashton Genty than what Pete Carroll and company could last year.
Yeah. Look at what Seattle does.
Right? They run the ball. They build off the run.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's a good place to start. Arizona,
I do think if the Raiders get Kubiak, that would be a really good hire.
Yes. I think that's actually, and that was my pick.
Was it really?
Yes, it was.
Who did I have Kubiak going to? I had him going somewhere.
But then you look at Arizona, it's okay, well, they don't really know what they're doing with Kyler Murray. I'd seen some rumblings maybe they could trade him for a day 2 pick. I'm like, how many teams are going to trade for that contract? Yeah, that's a bad contract.
There's a lot of quarterbacks with bad contracts that are going to be available.
Right. So, like, I don't know. Like, it's just kind of, what do you do there? Like, I don't know how much I trust ownership with Arizona. Like, I don't know. It's just they're just in purgatory right now. They're kind of in that irrelevant place.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, yeah, the Arizona Cardinals are our baseball team. See, they're a football team.
Are you sure now? Are you sure?
little
Positive. But no, I would probably go Raiders too. You get the first pick, like you said. You get Ashton Genty. They're going to need a new defensive coordinator, obviously, and such. But
hey,
maybe it's Schwartz.
Maybe it's Schwartz. Yeah,
that would be a good pick for Kubiak to go over there.
it would.
And I'd really hate it too. So, but
Better there than the 49ers.
that's true. That is true. Trying to think, or maybe goes to Buffalo. Who knows? They're going to need one too.
Maybe it's Jim Leonard.
Jim Leonard's getting more interviews now, more interview requests.
Yes.
So, and yeah, I don't need to open up that can of worms again for a lot of Packers. What did you think as an outsider about Jonathan Gannon?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Just give me-
I understand. Like, okay, obviously he didn't have a great track record with the Cardinals, and obviously some of the stuff he was saying on video, like, I mean, like, it wasn't like bad or anything. It was just kind of goofy.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know, like he's had some success at times. Like it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, I can understand the rationale behind it.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, pump the brakes full throttle. I'll say this, and I said a few times, I think it pisses people off, but I don't care. If Jimmy Leonard was named Bob Davis and he was from Minnesota or Illinois or Louisville, do Packers fans care?
Right. I mean, not as much.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, that's the thing. There's the connection, and this is the second time. Like
everything's the same. It's just different schools and different hometown. Like, oh, he's a really good defensive mind. Do people make that big of a fuss of it? I don't think they do.
Right. I mean,
what if Christian Parker, just for example, defensive backs coach, who's now the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, pass game coordinator. What if it was like that? No Packers fans were clamoring for him.
right.
So I do think that's a part of it for a lot of people.
I'm sure it is. I mean, you wanted to see the home state guy, and look, I get it.
Steno's from Marshfield for crying out loud, and everybody wants him out. You got a WIAC player now as your linebackers coach for Green Bay. You don't get Jimmy.
Yeah.
You get Sifkas from lacrosse. And
That lacrosse pipeline.
Hey, Goody's probably the happiest guy in that franchise right now. So we, got a eagle over there. So let's go pump the brakes full throttle. Matthew Stafford will come back next year.
I think so.
It was just a weird offseason this last year with that back.
It was. I think you will. And I thought that if they won the Super Bowl, he might retire.
Mm-hmm.
Do the old Elway thing, going on top thing. But
especially since he's probably going to win MVP.
Right. But I think there's maybe one more go of it in there for him.
I do too. I think, I
especially because he played,
didn't miss any time. That's the thing.
No,
right?
he played. Obviously, he played really, really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm gonna go full throttle that he comes back.
I agree, but I also agree with you too. If they had won the Super Bowl, I think he would probably go out on top too.
Him and Clayton Kershaw going out at the same time.
Yeah. Well, Kershaw is playing in the World Baseball Classic, so he kind of extended that a little bit. But pump the brakes full throttle with Big Mike back in Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers comes back for one more year.
Ooh. I mean, James Campbell coming.
Scott Tolzien might be the offensive
might be
coordinator.
there. You can teach him the spin move.
If Tom Clements all of a sudden comes out
I
of
was gonna
retirement
say,
again,
that would be I'm gonna still pump the brakes. Like, I don't know. I'm sure they'll have some conversations, but I don't know. Like, just watching him at the end there, and even just the last year, he can't move. Like, look, the arm is still there. Like, he can still make some wild throws.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Like, I just think he's done.
I'm gonna go full throttle because I connected some dots more outside of the Campman and the Scott Tolzien one. Okay, outside. Although Aaron loves James Campman. Look at the video he did a few years ago. Loves him. I was like, okay, but who is the quarterback? Because Mike McCarthy is actually retaining the Steelers quarterbacks coach. Like, okay, but does he really have any connection with Aaron? Where's that? Oh, where did his name is Tom Arth. Okay. 2006. He spent some time in the offseason and or practice squad with who? Green Bay. Whose first year as head coach was that for? Mike McCarthy. So there is a connection there. Obviously, Aaron was there too. So boom, bomb, bing. It's happening.
Tom Arth is the connective tissue.
Tom Arth, that's the connective tissue. He's the scar tissue. Let's keep it there. But I was just because I'm like, okay, that I thought Mike McCarthy being a quarterback guy would want to. Nope, there's a little bit of connection right there. So yeah, he so he was signed to Green Bay in 2006, but was released prior to the start of training camp. Still, he probably had a meal with Rodgers. But I mean, he was his quarterback coach for this past year too. So I'm gonna go full throttle, and most of it is because I want to see it. I want to see it happen. It'd be a cool story, right? Come on, it'd be fun. It'd be fun. Say yes. Say it. Say it. Say yes.
Go on.
All right, that's your Pump the Brakes Full Throttle brought to you by AJM Automotive. We got to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these quick words. We will have to play a little catch up because we do got to take another break before we wrap up the third hour. Blame Brandon for falling behind on schedules and such. So it's your fault. So you're probably the one that gave us a poor review on Spotify for the Man Cave podcast too. So
I did not.
whoever that loser was lowered our overall ranking. So if you got Spotify and you want to help us out, go and just click 5 stars on there and make up for that bum whoever did that. So Zach, I see you over there. You go on Spotify and go do it right now. So stop watching Unsolved Mysteries on your phone.
He
First
said
of all,
once you
I'm
get
jealous.
once you get the TV in here, he said it's just going to have Unsolved Mysteries on in the background at all times.
Unsolved Mysteries or American Gladiators, what needs to come back?
That would be like the things like, okay, what are we going to have on TV in the background today?
I know Unsolved Mysteries kind of does that. Have you watched the new ones on Netflix since you're
Little
kind
bit,
of
little
okay?
bit.
All right. I mean, they're good, but they're not.
It's different because it's like longer form for one versus obviously in the old days the Unsolved Mysteries you'd have like 3 or 4 over the course of an hour.
Yes. Yep.
So
Yep. But they got to the point.
and that's a good thing. Like it was like even though they did well with them, it always just felt like it was every other kind of investigative show that's out there. Versus this one, it was always a little bit more. I don't say rapid fire because that doesn't feel like you're doing justice, but like. You'd have 3 or 4 different things. So you had a variety. Like, it was never like an hour of just like murder, 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 murder. It was like, oh, murder. And then there's like, oh, there's aliens. And then here's a family that was reunited. So, like, it was, a variety.
You need to look up, because this is what I think was my introduction to my fascination of Bigfoot. It is one of the creepiest episodes they have is the Bigfoot one. I know they got a few, but there's one where a guy's like, he tells a story where he's prospecting, like he's going on a trail, he's mining, and a Bigfoot chases him. I mean, it literally is just a dude in a big old hairy costume, but it's kind of creepy, and I think that's what got me hooked on Bigfoot back in the day. But
So how come you didn't become a prospector?
good question. There's a big what if.
What if Dan became a prospector?
Gold fever. Could have.
Tarnation.
Oh, it's the simple things in life, man. I've been, missing that stuff. But yeah, because Hudson just got done binge watching Full House. Old school's a Full House. So it's like, things were so much better back in the day. Even the theme song, and it says the evening TV, like TGIF. That's why I always call Fridays TGIF. Kids will never know how great TGIF was back in the day. I know you and I have talked about our ultimate lineups and such. And it's sad. It really is. So, all right. We'll take our final break here, and our podcast rating probably just went down even more now. So, but we'll take our final break and wrap up the third hour. Plenty more to get to, though, coming up after these quick words. All right, 9 minutes left to the top. Zach said he's going to get on there, and I'm going to be watching Zach. That 5 stars. Okay, 5 stars. Rest of you, help Brandon out. Help him out. Actually, it would help out Hudson. You give it low stars like that, you're making an 8-year-old sad because his kid cave is on there, and you really want to make an 8-year-old sad?
Come on.
Be better than that, people, for crying out loud. Be better. Do it for the kids, right? Do it for the kids. Coming up next hour. What?
I'm still trying to convince you to
He
play
is
the
like,
Unsolved Mysteries.
you are so hooked to Unsolved Mysteries right now.
I've been watching a lot of it this week. Just
Like-
as I'm like at home, just like, oh.
Pluto?
No, that's an option, but there's a YouTube channel that
Oh,
I
you
think
do
that's
YouTube.
just
Yeah.
continuous.
Okay.
But like you said, I'm just bummed that they don't play it in order.
Mm-hmm.
It's not sequential order. They kind of bounce around. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm getting teased with, okay, on the next Unsolved Mysteries, blah, 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 I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. Then suddenly it's a show 4 seasons later.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when it looks like it's a good one, too.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, or like when Robert Stack goes extended reports on our next episode. It's like, oh, good. I got to know if this case from 30 years ago, what's going to happen when I could just easily Google it. So probably, but yeah. The Giannis thing is an unsolved mystery. There you go. What's the sports version right now of Unsolved Mysteries? Is it Giannis?
Maybe. Could be.
Could be.
Oh, well.
Okay, that's fine, Brandon. That's fine. But we'll talk some more Giannis coming up in the next hour. I feel like this is a weekend that some sports entity needs to take advantage of. Like, I feel like this is something like you should, I don't care, like, okay, the NBA, do something. NFL took away Christmas from you.
Right.
I feel like you need to embrace, like, the weekend before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like there's something.
Just have everybody play on Sunday.
Yeah, like fill the void.
Yeah.
I remember, again, as a kid, TBS would do like a movie marathon. It said no football weekend, and it was like the weekend before the Super Bowl. I'm not saying they should do that because now you can watch movies left and right. It's all over the place. But I feel like this is a prime weekend for some sort of sporting events to happen. Is this?
Well, you are in luck, sir, because tomorrow afternoon is the Royal Rumble. There you go. Your void has been filled there.
I did not. I will say this and I've got no problem with it, but I did not realize what such a hot button topic that is between our listeners.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You mentioned that, so yeah.
I'm not opening that can.
No,
I
just brought it up, so it's something that's out there.
Some people are very passionate about it.
Some people are not.
Some people are very passionate about not about it. We'll just leave it that way.
We'll leave it there. So
we'll leave it there.
But yeah, otherwise, I mean, it's just kind of like there's college basketball going on. Like,
but even like I feel like there's got to be some like what could it be? It would have to be the NBA. I mean, NHL's there too, but
right.
I feel like there's got to be. I'm surprised the NFL hasn't filled in something yet. Obviously they tried with the Pro Bowl.
Is the Senior Bowl tomorrow?
Is it Senior or Shrine? I get those two mixed up.
I think it's Senior.
Is it Senior
I
Bowl?
thought Shrine was earlier this week.
The Senior Bowl is the Panini Senior Bowl. Yeah, it is tomorrow. You're right. Good call. January 31st. So, good call, Brandon.
So that's what it is. It's Senior Bowl.
They did move it up for that, didn't they? Didn't it used to be later?
Might have been.
Yeah, got to get that draft stuff in right away. Got to kick that off.
No rest in the NFL.
Nope. So, does anybody care about it? I don't really. Yeah. I like the draft, but I've kind of lost interest in that stuff though too. There's too much bowls, Senior Bowls,
Yeah.
Shrine Bowls. There's another one, isn't there?
Well, last week, Bloomers Jack Strand played in the American Bowl. That was the first year that was established, though.
Okay.
So
yeah, East West Shrine Bowl. Well, then I'll probably just think of like scouting combines and pro days and all that stuff too. So, but no, that ain't it for me.
You're not grinding the NFL Network tape of the combine?
If Mike Mayock was still there, maybe. What is he doing now? That's another unsolved mystery. What is Mike Mayock doing these days? How come he hasn't even started a podcast?
Being mad about cut waste animals during the draft.
I mean, that guy needs to start like a podcast or something.
I will never forget the year that they had the primate in the Indianapolis Zoo. Who would touch the screen and then the pick would pop up?
If he was at the draft in Green Bay last year, that would have been the must try to. I know you and I tried to get Mel Kiper's attention.
Yeah, I don't even know. Was he there?
No.
Yeah, so, I mean.
But I'm saying, like, if he was still involved with NFL, that would have been, I know, like, we were trying to get Mel, but
yeah,
that was, it's kind of funny because they all had blankets on their laps. Did you remember that? Heated blankets on their laps when they were doing? Yeah.
I mean, look, it wasn't warm.
It was not.
But.
We stayed warm with beverages.
We did. Plenty of hot cocos.
Yep.
And ciders.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a victory scotch.
Maybe. But the.
When in Rome.
Well, the Friday was just also really rainy and wet.
Yeah.
Moist.
I mean, yeah, it could have been worse, but.
Sure could have.
It didn't.
And I think leading up to it, I was cheering for it to be worse. I want it to just be terrible weather.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought that would have been funny. Welcome to Wisconsin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot the draft's in Pittsburgh, too, so Big Mike.
Big Mike
and Aaron going to be on that stage at Pittsburgh. Heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah. So, all right. Shot clock's going to cut us off here. So, yeah, we'll talk some more Giannis. We'll talk some Brewers baseball as we get set for that. Not a whole lot, again, going on in the NFL world, even from coaching standpoint. Yeah, Sean Mannion's going to be offensive coordinator, former Minnesota Viking, great quarterback, Sean Mannion, going to be offensive coordinator for
Legend.
the Philadelphia Eagles.
He once started a game over Kellen Mond, and when Mike Zimmer was asked why, he said, because I've seen Kellen Mond in practice.
I was at that game. It was a Packer game.
That was an ugly game.
Yeah. Well, for Vikings, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was at that game. I forgot Sean Mannion started that game.
He did. His Cousins was in COVID protocol.
Yep, I forgot.
Yeah, the Vikings were like just barely hanging on to the playoffs, and then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But he was someone that even at that time, like people that covered the Vikings were like, he's gonna be a coach someday.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could just tell. Like, I mean, he was a big guy, but he wasn't like he didn't have like the most like arm talent, but like he got it. Like, I mean, he was backup quarterback. Like he understood what he needed to do. It's just, those are generally the type of people that make a go of it. Like Josh McCown,
right?
He's a Vikings quarterback coach, and I mean, how long was he in the league?
Well, and he was getting head coaching interviews before even getting
right.
Kind of like Phillip Rivers. We talk about with baseball, like catchers seem like to be the prime. Is it? You'd think quarterbacks would be ones, or maybe like a linebacker.
Yeah,
or a
quarterbacks
middle
and linebackers are the ones I thought of. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Basketball, I was trying to figure out, is it? You look at point guards, obviously, like Steve Kerr, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash for a hot minute.
Rivers.
Stop. Chauncey Billups before he got in trouble for gambling. Sam Cassell's an assistant, I think, somewhere. Rajon Rondo. Yeah. All right, 3 in, 1 more to go. We'll continue with the craziness coming up after these news updates. Not that weird, Brandon. Not that kind of weird.
Don't you tell me my business.
Final hour, then we're done for the week. Back at it on. Well, I almost hit the lights with the hockey stick.
You're just holding onto the hockey stick for a while.
Not a hockey player. I did play some street hockey when I was a kid. Don't know how to skate, though. Don't know how to skate.
I played a year of intramural floor hockey.
How'd that go?
College. I scored a goal.
Nice.
And then our team wasn't very good.
Obviously, it made an impact in your life.
Obviously.
I mean,
it changed my life.
Mm-hmm. We need more adult stuff like that now that we're old. I still want to do Pinewood Derby races for adults. Go using the hill at Upper Campus. I still want to do that.
Jeez, that's a big hill.
Because I don't know if Titletown District still does it in Green Bay, but that's where I got the idea. They were doing it for Father's Day weekend. I'm like, I want to bust out.
You can't say that without me thinking of Mark Murphy. Whee!
Maybe we could get him to be the honorary, ride a little, what do you call those, boxcars or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, soapbox derby.
Soapbox Derby, that's what it is. Yeah. Was that a thing? It was never a thing when I was a kid.
I feel like that was before our time.
Okay. Or maybe just the wrong area.
Maybe we just didn't have enough hills.
Yeah, that could be it, too.
Taylor County notoriously.
Well, Perkistown. We got hills over
true.
there.
That's true.
Those are grassy hills. But still want to do something like that.
I think last year at the draft, were we trying to find Mark Murphy to go down the sled hill with?
We probably were. We probably were. All right. I got weird, crazy ideas in my head. That's why I keep a little notebook around. I'm gonna have to add the Pinewood Derby one on there. But all right, let's
What?
let's talk some more hoops and Giannis. Who's to blame more, Brandon, for the Bucks issues currently right now? Doc, Giannis, Horst, ownership.
Well, then it would be who's to blame most, because that's the proper grammatical term.
Jesus.
Who's
to blame more?
I mean, I put a fair amount of it at Horst because they just haven't been able to find that right combination around him. They've tried. Like, I'll give them credit for trying, but it hasn't worked.
How much was an influence from Giannis, do you think?
I mean, a fair amount. I mean, I don't think they were making a bunch of moves that he did not like, or at least was not signing off on.
I honestly feel like the Dame move was made because in part of Giannis.
I think so.
I think coaching moves were made in part with Giannis.
Look, they were, what was it, 31-13, whatever it was with Adrian Griffin. And while that might not have been working behind the scenes, you can't argue that since then they have not come anywhere close to that sort of.
Ask Jay Crowder that.
He'll tell you.
Mm-hmm. He'll tweet about it.
Yeah.
Been getting listeners blaming Jimmy Haslam, because it's not straight. He's not the straight owner. And they got the governor thing, and he's not the governor. So I don't know.
Like don't get me wrong. I don't like Jimmy Haslam.
Right.
I don't like the fact that he's I don't know,
part owner.
Yeah, part owner of the Bucks. But like,
I feel like that's more of like he gave him money, so he's an owner and gets money in return. I don't think he's got a whole big sway of decision making like he does with the Browns.
Yeah. I mean, you can look at the Browns and see, okay, he's. Mm-hmm. Doesn't always make the best decisions.
Right. So I don't know if I can, because he's really kind of a silent owner when it comes to the.
But But then also the thing I struggle with too is like, so John Horst hasn't been able to successfully rebuild around Giannis, but now you're gonna trust him to be the one to make the moves to of trading Giannis and then rebuilding.
Because what was it last year or the year before? There was that report that Detroit wanted to hire him and he was interested, but then Milwaukee blocked it. But you're right. It's like it's almost kind of the Giants situation, or even Buffalo, for instance. You're going to fire your head coach, but you're going to keep the GM that was building those teams.
Right.
And it just doesn't make a lot of sense for me. I think the best move in John Horst's tenure was acquiring Drew Holiday.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was
that was the move that got them over the top.
Yep. But I'm like you. I let me ask you the question. Let me finish my first thought. I don't fault them for trying.
No.
And this leads into my next question that I was bringing up yesterday, because you have Brewers fans that clamor for their team. Can you just try? Can you just maybe make a move? Can you push it all in for 1 year? We've got these great starting pitchers from a few years ago. Can we try to bring it? Can you just gamble a little bit? Whereas that's not their way, but they're, for the most part, have been competitive.
Yeah.
Whereas you have a Bucks team that has tried a lot, and now you look at the situation, it didn't work. You got two of those examples.
Right, and you
there.
and you have a pretty bare cupboard.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I want to ask which one's better, because I don't know if we can really answer that. Because if the Bucks did it and they won a couple championships, you're going to say that's the one. So I guess maybe the question is, which do you prefer? Do you want a general manager that's going to try and push the needle, or do you want that general manager to keep your team in a position to succeed, and then when you get to the playoffs, you're crossing your fingers?
Right, and it's kind of tough to judge because it's different situations where, look, the Brewers do not have a Giannis on their team.
Right.
But because of the nature of baseball, they have a lot more depth. They have, if between the two teams, if we were to power rank the best player, Giannis would be one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm willing to bet the Brewers would have a lot of the next ones.
That's true.
And look, you need that more in baseball than in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good question.
Because I feel like a lot of the fans that are complaining about John Horst and the Bucks are, not all, but a lot of fans are probably the same ones complaining about the Brewers for not making moves or trying to make moves, essentially. Whereas, okay, if the Brewers do make those type of moves, they're the ones that would get hurt the most financially.
And if it didn't work, then they'd really be up the creek.
Yeah. So it's an interesting comparison, I think, between those two. Packers is a little different because, you could say they were kind of like the Brewers for the longest time, but then they go ahead and trade 2 first-rounders for Micah Parsons. Right. So, I mean, it's that one. These are, I think, between Brewers and Bucks are the two extremes with this thing. And I guess I would just like to know, what do you prefer as a fan? Do you prefer the Brewers approach where, hey, we're going to try to remain competitive?
It's a little more measured.
Yep.
It's more develop from within.
And we're going to try to, our goal is to be competitive for years to come, not just 1 year or 2 years, and take that risk, if you will. Then you're kind of counting on some luck to happen in the postseason. Or do you want the uber aggressive? Those moves may not work. And if they don't work, you're in what you said, up a creek without a paddle. But if they do work, maybe Giannis has a couple championships and the Bucks have a couple championships.
Well, and I think the thing, too, with the Bucks is, outside of the championship in 2021, they don't have really many other deep playoff runs.
And a lot of that was injuries, though.
Right. Oh, yeah. That's a big part of it. But I'm just saying, it's not like you have, you can look at, 2 years after the title, they were in the Eastern Conference Finals or whatever.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like a flash in the pan.
Yeah, and it's not, but you're right. Since the championship, have they gotten out of the first round?
I think they did once.
Was it the next year they made the second round?
Wasn't that Game 7 against the Celtics?
Okay.
I think. I'll look it up.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think, have they gotten out of the first round since they won the championship? And look, injuries is a gigantic part of that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of the nature of the beast. I mean, the Brewers, obviously, they've dealt with injuries in the postseason, too.
So let me look it up here. So, Suns. Yeah, the following year they beat the Bulls in the first round, 4-1, and then fell to the Celtics in Game 7. I think that was Middleton was hurt, and I think wasn't that the thought if Middleton plays, they probably win that and go to the Eastern Conference Finals.
But that's the.
Then after that, they have not won a first.
Right,
round
they've
playoff.
won one playoff series since 2021.
That's very eerily similar to the Brewers when we were talking about last year not winning a playoff series since 2018.
All right,
that's really close to that, but that's and I know everybody's finger pointing at the Dame one, and that's the easy one here too.
Right.
But at that time,
no one was finger pointing at the time.
Like Drew Holiday, I think everybody loved Drew Holiday. I love Drew Holiday, but I think at that point, I really believe the injuries to Chris Middleton and all those, they thought, okay, we need another option in case Giannis is hurt or somebody else is hurt.
We need another primary scorer. And for all the great things Drew Holiday brought to the table, he was not that guy at that point.
His couple games of 50 points does not mean he is a consistent, because it was always like after he would have a great game, like a 50 point, then he was he's almost stunk afterwards offensively. That's not to pick on him, but because for the longest time, even before Drew Holiday was there, what was everybody's complaint about the Bucks? Giannis needs his Robin. Middleton's not the Robin. Giannis needs his Robin. Had his Robin, it didn't work. Those two, for whatever reason. I still believe if Dame didn't tear his Achilles, he's playing with the Bucks this year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I think
if he doesn't, they're not making that move. If they don't, they're giving it a shot there.
Right. So it's a tough question. What do you prefer?
It is.
It's really tough because right now it is not good for the Bucks. And I don't know if it's fair. Does this also factor into it that, the Brewers never won one, so maybe that's why people want them to be Uber just to get one.
Right.
Just to get one.
Because let's put it this way. If a similar situation with what we've seen in the Bucks for the past 7 or 8 years occurred with the Brewers, I think there would be a fair amount of people that would be happy with it because, the Brewers don't have a championship.
Mm-hmm.
And if they
okay, so let me ask you, you're the biggest Brewers fan I know.
Yeah.
Sub out Bucks, put Brewers. You got that one championship, and now you're kind of like where you're at right now. Are you happy?
I probably am.
Mm-hmm.
I probably am. Like you can kind of wonder, like, hey, what happens if we didn't get, if this person didn't get hurt then or then? But like, you've got the one.
Mm-hmm.
When you got, trust me, as someone who's a fan of a few different teams that don't have one, just get the one.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bucks had the one obviously from the early '70s, so it's not quite the same. But yeah, yes, I'd say honestly, I feel like I probably would have been, or at least at this point, I would be kind of understanding of like, okay, this almost like this era's done.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just time to move on and kind of reset.
I never even thought of it, and this is not to pick on you. You have one championship for your favorite team that you've witnessed.
NFL championship for the Vikings.
I'm talking for your favorite teams.
What's that?
Bucks.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying that you have witnessed.
Well, that's not entirely true because I'm a Pittsburgh Penguins.
Your top three.
Yeah, out of the top three, yes.
Yeah.
Of the top three, yes. Because you can even factor Badgers in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like with like football or men's basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I didn't even think of it that way.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably worse for really diehard Minnesota if throw Timberwolves in.
Sure.
They got twins though, so for a lot of them, that's the thing.
Yeah,
but still.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Not great.
Especially, when you do throw in Badgers and you throw in like the hoops team in that national championship, you just like for one.
I don't feel like I'm owed anything in life, but I feel like I'm due. I'm due for something.
At least like if you're straight up Minnesota, it's like, okay, at least we got the twins. You
got the Lynx.
Yeah, and the Lynx. You, on the other hand,
I don't know. No, this is not a great concoction for me.
I finally maybe understand why C-Bomb has so many times said, I feel bad for Brandon in his sport. It just finally dawned on me because you're a Brewers and you're a Vikings and you're a Badgers and then you got the one championship with your Bucks.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
a pick-me-up on a Friday morning. Thanks, Dan. I needed that.
Hey, it could always be worse. You could be for crying out loud, even Detroit's got championships with the Pits. I'm trying to think of something.
And the Tigers.
And the Tigers.
Because technically, I believe Minnesota, or the Twin Cities, however you want to phrase it, they of teams that have like the Big Four, or at least three of the four, they have gone the longest without a championship. Their last championship for, if you're counting NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, and NFL, would be the Twins. It was 91.
Yeah.
Which I believe is the record.
Yeah.
For the longest.
That's true. That's true. Man. All right. We'll let Brandon kind of recover here.
So you can say a lot of things about me, but you can't say I'm not loyal.
That is true. Loyalty in sports. There's another topic for another day. Oh, man. All right. We'll take a quick break and back with more after these quick words. Feel like you and I should do a quick pod after this. I just don't know what topic we'd hit up. I feel like we're in a groove right now that we need to.
We need to strike while iron's hot.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what topic we'd hit up. I don't know if anybody would chime in and give us an idea or a nomination, a suggestion. Yeah, I'll let you think. You got that?
I've got an idea for something. It's a topic I've heard other people talk about. I'll bring it up to you off air. Just give
Little
you a thought.
tease. I like the tease, man. I like the tease. Okay, so we don't have it is a football-less weekend.
Yeah, so
coming up, but kind of going back to the past weekend. You look at the games. I mean, they're both entertaining, like kind of entertaining.
Yeah,
for
they're
the first
competitive.
one, but I don't understand. It brings it back up, the whole Kurt Warner thing where he wants all these games in like domes and it was bringing up the conversation about neutral sites for conference championships. What are we doing as a society to say all this stuff? I don't understand it.
No, you earn the right to have home field advantage.
Yes.
Like, yeah,
I don't like, because then what's the point between 1 and 2? Okay, you get a bye then, but that's it. Then you get one home game if you.
Yeah, I would disagree.
And the whole controlled environments, just stop.
No.
Win more games.
Football
if you're, you know.
And look, I mean, obviously, Kurt played when Kurt was at his best, he was playing inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe that's what he prefers, but there's a difference between, hey, this is what I prefer, and hey, this is what's best for football. Like, I mean,
right.
No, I would disagree with that big time.
I completely disagree, respectfully.
Respectfully.
Completely disagree with him. So, but I saw that getting popped up again. I'm like, no, just stop it. Just stop. But I will say it did make me appreciate the Packers and Seahawks snow globe game a little bit more because there was a little bit more offense.
Yeah.
So with that one, but it was. If Bo Nix did play in that game, you think Denver's in it?
Yeah.
Or was the weather that much of a wild card? It kind of just neutralized everything.
No, I still think Denver wins that game if Bo Nix plays.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it is crazy. Like when you'd see like the time lapse over like the different images of first quarter, second quarter. They're like it is crazy how much the weather changed. But as the old saying goes, it's the same weather for both teams.
Right. Which team are you most surprised at with their success this season? Is it New England or Seattle?
I think New England.
Yeah.
Because of just the big step forward for Drake May, which, I mean, look, and I think even before the show, we thought Mike Vrabel's a good coach. But, like, was he a good coach or is he a great coach? Is he a coach that's going to have you in the playoff hunt? Like, a lot of things have come together for New England to be in the spot. Like, I think maybe next week we can look back at our preseason picks, but like I picked the Seahawks to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So like I thought they would be good.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'd be this good. Maybe not, but still.
I think it's still super impressive that you have a team in their first year. I mean, they traded their starting quarterback. They traded their top wide receiver in DK Metcalf. Tyler Lockett was getting a little long in the tooth, and they moved on from him and such. But still, to be able, and then new offensive coordinator because they moved on from their offense, brought in a new one. To see all that, and new head coach with Vrabel, not a first timer, but obviously the quick turnaround from that. You see these two teams. I think what's another example of this is that you saw two teams active in free agency because the Patriots had a lot of money.
Yes,
I mean, bringing in Milt Williams, Stephon Diggs, those, and then obviously what we just said with Seattle. So you see that, which is also kind of ironic too, because the two guys in charge of roster building are Ron Wolf / Ted Thompson disciples and Elliott Wolf and John Schneider. So free agency has a place. You can still have teams where your core is draft and develop, but I think it's another example where you can't ignore free agency to build especially if you want a quick turnaround like these two teams had, right? I mean, I think if you're like Buffalo, you're like, come on. And then, you're looking at the Rams and the 49ers. It's like, oh, gee, I'm surprised by both, I think for different reasons, but probably more so New England.
Probably.
I don't quite understand the narrative that's out there that these teams are winning in spite of like Drake May, which, I mean, Cam Newton's on this thing, and no, Sam Darnold had himself an amazing NFC Championship
He had to
game.
play very, very well because Matt Stafford played really, really well. He hit, especially in the second half, he hit some big throws.
Just you think about, and I know we've touched on this off and on, these quarterbacks that are getting second or third chances, and these quarterbacks that are willing maybe to invest in themselves to kind of reset. Like Sam Darnold was, if you go back to that draft, I think a lot of people thought he was going to be the number one pick, and by the Cleveland Browns. It ended up being Baker Mayfield, which kind of on the same path a little bit. But that was the Josh Allen draft. That was a Lamar Jackson and Josh Rosen. But Darnold goes to just a crappy situation with the Jets. Goes to Carolina, where Baker, those two are trying to resurrect their careers, and not a great situation in Carolina. And then Sam's like back up for a year with the 49ers. And I remember a lot of talk, too, is like, hey, Sam could actually start. But he went to a great a system.
Yeah, kind of reset.
Goes to Minnesota for that year.
Has success.
Proves that, hey, my year off, or my year off, but you know what I mean.
I'm a starting quarterback in this league, played at a high level.
And, I mean, it's a great story. Baker, kind of the same thing a little bit. Obviously, he hasn't been to the Super Bowl yet, but really.
No, he's been, he's a legitimate starting quarterback.
Yeah, and I don't know how much helped going to the Rams and McVay for just a hot minute sort of thing. But, I mean, for the quarterback is the position that everybody wants to replace so quick when things aren't going great right away.
And they're very quick to say, okay, well, you just suck. You're a bust. You're a bum.
I'll bring this question up. Did teams give up too quick on Josh Rosen then? Did Josh Rosen need to be in a good situation? Because he was termed as the best pro prospect in that draft.
I think part of it, though, is I think kind of what we heard after the fact from Josh Rosen is that he liked football, but he didn't love it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's like, you can't say Baker Mayfield doesn't love football.
Right.
Like, and Sam Darnold, obviously, he's a lot more laid back, but like, he is a relentless worker.
Yep.
Like, you have to put in a ton of time to make it work.
And it's not like Josh Rosen only had one or two opportunities.
Right. He bounced around a little bit.
He did. And he had chances.
I would push back maybe a little bit on that idea that, like, if Josh Rosen just ended up somewhere else, like if he, sat under the Shanahan learning tree for a year, that he would be, a top 10 quarterback right now.
I would 100% agree with that. Yep, absolutely. So, because he was, I think, didn't Minnesota bring him in for a hot minute?
He
Not regular season maybe, but like off season or something. I think so.
Yeah, he
had a chance.
I just think he was one of those guys that, like, he was good at football in college and he liked it, but I just don't think like it was his life. And like, if you want to.
You got to invest.
For like 99.9% of people in the NFL, like you have to be all about football.
Yeah, you have to. It can. I mean, they get a lot of money. There's no question. But the more you kind of hear about it and you see the behind the scenes and the amount of work that I know I couldn't do it. I would not have it.
It is not a 9-to-5 job.
No.
It's 24/7.
But I think it's such a great story about Sam. Like if the Seahawks win the Super Bowl and Sam Darnold plays well, that is a great. I'm looking forward to that biography when it comes out, because I want to know what was going through his mind when things weren't great. With the Jets, Panthers, and then saying, "Man, I want to be but going to San Francisco." Just because I think you talk about the mental side of sports too. I think it's just a fantastic story.
I saw the reflection of the hockey stick in the window.
Oh, I thought somebody was coming by. So, but
no,
it's
Michael
I think
Myers with a machete or something.
And that's kind of maybe where Malik Willis could be at this point too. A guy that wasn't that long ago throughout the draft, people thought he was going to be a first-round pick.
Yep.
Ended up going in the third, but maybe not a great situation at Tennessee. And I know Vrabel was there, but it didn't really fit the system. Maybe goes to Green Bay. Quarterback friendly system, and right now he's probably in line to get a nice payday, but I hope he kind of follows the Sam Darnold path for Malik's case and says, can I go to a situation, I know it's easy for us to say it's not all about the money, I hope he cashes in. But if you want a long sustained success,
Right.
find that.
Somewhere that's also a good situation.
Yeah, a good support system. It's going to kind of build around you or something too. So, but I just think it's cool to see that we're finally. It's not always going to happen, but we're seeing these quarterbacks still getting another chance because so much is determined by the team that you go to. We kind of make jokes about it. We make fun of it a little bit at times, like the Browns jersey with all the different quarterbacks that they've had on there. But it's a thing. Mm-hmm. It really is a thing. If you get drafted in a really bad situation, it could really affect your career. And honestly, going back to our conversation from last week about maybe we're going to get to a point where there's going to be courts about drafts and that could be an example of like a case against the draft, couldn't it be? Where, hey, I'd have no control where I have to go to work and they're not giving me the resources to be the best that I could be, and it affects my value and what I can make. I hate to say it, but it's true for some of these teams.
Yeah.
But all right, we'll take a quick break. Back with plenty more coming up after these quick words. Are the Winter Olympics something you get excited about, Brandon?
A little bit. Like, I'm sure it's something that when it's on, I'll keep an eye out and watch.
Yeah, because I know they're gearing up for it.
Yep, it's coming up here pretty quick. I would say I'm probably maybe a little bit more of a summer guy.
Okay.
Although winter, I do enjoy hockey, obviously.
Yeah, because it starts on the 6th next week.
Yeah.
I just, even like summer and that, like I got nothing against them. I don't know. I can't fully get into
Well,
it.
I mean, I'm sure the thing with so many people is you don't know the stories, and like you don't have any background, and then they try, and like obviously they try. It's just tough,
Right.
you know.
Right.
For some of the more well-known sports, we know more.
And, for mine, and I don't know if this is the thing, but like, okay, if I watch the summer and I'm watching Team USA basketball,
You kind of know, like
yeah, but then they're so good.
yeah. So it's like it's not competitive.
Right. That's where I do like the hockey, like, because then you get a little bit of the
yeah.
rivalry chipping in and
Right,
such.
then,
And
yeah, there's
a little bit more of a level playing field.
Right.
Football, I feel like the USA is just going to dominate when they get to that.
Yeah.
Now, I'll watch it right away
Just to see.
just to see. But if there is, if they don't dominate that thing, then they're not taking it
There's
serious.
a team from like Romania or something that just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. Like if it's the 1980 U.S. men's hockey team upsetting Russia or something like that, it's like I don't want to be that. I don't want to be part of them making movies about that one or something. But yeah, I mean, I'll tune in once in a while, but I guess it's not like I'm gonna have a Olympics party, like a Super Bowl party or anything like that. It's just, yeah, I feel like it kind of sneaks up on you a little bit. Like, because it does start a week from today,
Right.
technically. But
And I think part of it too is the Olympics are always, they're never at the same exact time. Like they always kind of like some years it's later in February, some years it's earlier. In the summer sometimes it's in July, sometimes it's in August or September. Like just depends on where you are.
right,
So it's not like you can necessarily set your watch to it.
right. I wonder too for like the Winter Olympics, if it has a lot to do with the main sports that you follow from a pro level. Like you mentioned hockey, like it's like 4th, 5th on my list of priority.
Yeah, but
Whereas like basketball is like, okay, I play basketball. I could really, I was in track and field and I sucked for 1 year, but it's like, okay, I can, oh yeah, I did hurdles when I was in 8th grade, so I'm going to watch the hurdles here. And it's, that's
basically
sort of
the
thing.
same thing.
Right. Yeah. Why wasn't I in there? Yeah. Sort of thing. I've never gone snowboarding. I can't ski worth a lick. I can't play hockey. I don't know how to skate. I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
It's a Summer Olympic sport, but I think the sport I've always gravitated towards is speed walking.
Okay, I wanted to know about speed walking. Is there a max? Like, I mean, I feel like there's got to be something I'm missing with this thing. Like,
there's some rule about like your feet, like it's like both feet can't be off the ground. There's some rule.
There's
that, like,
got to be.
like, because you're right.
Because I feel like I would dominate at speed walking.
There's a rule. There's rules in place that keep you from just like running.
Speed walking rules. 1 foot must be in contact with the ground at all times to the human eye. To the human eye. So I could be so fast that you can't see from the human eye, though.
It'd be like the Roadrunner with the spinning legs.
The supporting leg must remain straight from the point of contact until it passes the underbody. How the hell do you train for that? Okay. All right, so it's a little bit different here. Little bit different, but again, why is this an Olympic game?
Because it takes talent, man. It takes skill.
I want to look at a list of the Winter Olympic Games. Here we go. Alpine skiing, figure skating, freestyle skating, Nordic combine, bobsled. That one would freak me out to try.
Oh, yeah.
I still want to do this. I've mentioned it for years. I want to do like a video series of where I try a bunch of different sports. I still want to do this. I don't know if you can get me to get into a bobsled though. Like a legit high up. I like, no, thank you. I don't know if I can do that. Cross country curling. I'm probably a little bit, and I hold a grudge against curling because it's huge in Medford, and we did mini courses, and everybody wanted to do it, and for whatever reason, my classes were always like the time of the day. Hey, you signed up last, and it was always full, so I never got to do curling. So I'm probably a little, not happy about that. But is that all of them? Feels like there's not a lot on here. I don't know, but anyways, I think we should have planned this out better and did our own version next Friday of the Winter Olympics.
Like the Wisconsin Winter Olympics.
That could be dangerous. Josh, if you're listening, set us up with a little you-know-what.
So we'll take a week and think about this next week. Like, what would your Wisconsin Winter Olympic like?
I like it.
Like four. Like we wouldn't have to do them all, but like 4 Wisconsin Winter Olympics events.
I like it. The 4, yep, within reason.
Yeah, within reason. Yeah.
Within reason. I like it.
Could
we go ice fishing?
But I just had one. Like,
are you gonna write it down?
I'm gonna put it in my notes on my phone because that's what I do with these all the time when we come up with topics.
Weird how you use your phone and I use a notebook yet. So. I'm an old soul, dude. So anybody's got any suggestions, you can send them on over too. But so are we gonna compete in these, or are we just gonna create it?
We can each create.
Okay.
Like 5.
Let's do 5.
Yeah, it's a nice round number.
Yeah.
It gives
Yep.
5 Wisconsin Winter Olympic events.
Okay. And then maybe if we set it up, because the Olympics, they're just a weekend or thing, maybe we could, depending on the list, between the two of us with our lists, we can compete in a couple of them.
Good.
And see who is crowned as the Wisconsin Winter. It's like it's the non-athletic version of the Badger State Games.
Yes.
Do they? Yeah, I always wanted to do that because do they still do those? The Badger State Winter Games and Summer Games?
Last I knew, I thought so.
Do they? Okay. I remember as a kid, I always wanted to do it, and I never got to. But all right, we'll do the non-athletic Wisconsin Winter. We got to come up with a better name though. Maybe ChatGPT can help us out with that.
I kind of like the Wisconsin Winter Olympics.
We got to put like non-athletic though. Semi-athletic. How about that? The semi-athletic Wisconsin Winter Olympics. I like it. All right. We got to do like the dodgeball acronym then, like the SAWW. W? No. See, I'm already confused.
We have some time. We get time.
We got
We get a
time.
week.
We
We
got
get a
time.
week.
We got
We get a
time.
week.
All right. It's a lot of pressure though.
Yeah, it is.
This could be the start of something great.
Sure could.
Really could. All right. We'll take our final break and we'll do some picks to wrap up this Friday morning. So Brandon and I are going to be doing a quick podcast after we shut the mics off again, or I shouldn't say again because you don't know what it is about, but it's going to be, you have 3 championships.
Yeah, so it's something, and I've heard people bring it up with 5, but I'm like, that's too much.
Yeah.
So basically, as a sports fan, if you were told the teams you cheer for the rest of your life are going to win, you're going to have 3 championships, how would you divvy those up?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you could choose, hey, I would get,
All 3 Brewers, all 3 or 2,
Packer,
1,
Packer, whatever.
1, 1, 1.
Yeah, how would you do that?
Mm-hmm. All right. I like it. So we're going to do that coming up in the roll right after we're done with this. Video and audio.
Oh.
The new revamped podcast. That please don't be a jerk and go do 5 stars instead of 1. So on Spotify. If you got Spotify or Apple, please help us out. It's for the kids. It's Hudson's podcast on there for crying out loud. Kid Cave. Let's do some picks, shall we? To wrap up this craziness on this Friday morning. Let's start off with college basketball because we got a good one tonight. Michigan at Michigan State. Michigan is a 1.5-point favorite. Who are you picking?
I'm going to go Michigan State. Michigan's coming off that big win over Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you can tell from just by saying the team names, it's a rivalry. I'm going to go Michigan State in this one.
Is this the first time they're playing since last year's mid-court thing? Remember that drama? They were standing around mid-court, senior day sort of thing. Like Michigan State was pissed or something.
I don't remember.
Okay, I don't know if something about that. I'll go Michigan. I'll go Michigan Wolverines tonight. How about then Ohio State at Wisconsin tomorrow?
I will go Wisconsin. They really dodged a bullet Wednesday night. I mean, being able to make that comeback against a well-undermanned but still playing quite hard Minnesota team. Like, they're getting to the end of the stretch of like, okay, you just got to pile up some wins here.
Yep.
And they are. And they have for the most part. Obviously, the USC game getting away sucks. But still, like I think they come back, and I don't think they start to slow this time.
I'm a little nervous because, I mean, bracketology has them as the bubble team.
Right, so.
They need to get these wins and maybe get another signature win.
Yeah.
On there. I'll go Wisconsin too, but barely. Number 13, BYU at number 14, Kansas.
Ooh. I'm going to go BYU.
I'm going to go BYU too. Kansas is favored, but, it's 4.5, excuse me. So let's go to the NHL world. We'll just do games for – no, we can't do games for tonight because there's only one. But we can do it. Columbus at Chicago.
I'm going to go Chicago.
I'll go Columbus. Let's do the NBA then. Let's do Lakers at Washington.
I'm going to
Washington with that big win last night. Can they do a back-to-back?
I'm going to go Lakers.
Yeah, Lakers. Toronto at Orlando.
Orlando.
Sacramento, Boston.
Boston.
Portland, New York, Knickerbockers.
I'm going to go New York.
Memphis, New Orleans.
Ooh. Memphis.
I'll go New Orleans. Cleveland, Phoenix.
Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland. Clippers, Denver.
Clippers are playing really well right now. I'm going to go Clippers.
I'll go Clippers too. Brooklyn, Utah.
2 very similar places. I'm going to go Utah.
Detroit, Golden State.
Detroit.
I'm going to go Detroit too. Let's skip over Saturday and just get to Sunday for one game. Milwaukee at Boston.
I'm going to go with the Boston Celtics.
Yeah. Do the Bucks reach 30 wins this year? They're at 18 right now. Do they have 12 more wins in them?
I'm going to say yes, but barely.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to go like 28.
I like that thought process, though. Like, if you're going to lose, lose.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know where the other wins are going to come from.
Well, they're done. They're got to be about done playing Washington, so.
The bugaboo, that is what. It's the Chris Middleton curse.
This
is what you get for trading Chris Middleton for
I was
Cry
going to say
Eye.
the Keith Van Horn curse. He played for New. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the Nets.
You're thinking of the Kerry Kittles, Jason Kidd, Nets, Kenyon Martin.
Jason Williams.
Now we're talking 90s to early 2000s hoops. You're in my wheelhouse right now, dude. In my wheelhouse. I think we could just like randomly do a podcast where we name random players.
And then we just kind of go off on tangents.
Like I was just thinking the other day because the Mavericks retired a number last night, and I saw it. I'm like, they're retiring Jamal Mashburn's number because it was 24. Mm-hmm. I'm like, nope, not Jamal Mashburn. Who had the better career? Jamal Mashburn, Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway. See, that's a great topic.
That's a good question.
I told you. Because neither one of them, I believe, are in the Hall of Fame.
No.
Can I give you some stats on what they...
I was going to say, that's what I was trying to look up. It's probably be easier for you.
So, because I feel like these are guys that... Grant Hill's got the name, right?
And he drinks Sprite.
He's got the name, Duke, and I mean, he was a great
Grant Hill's
player.
a Hall of Famer.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Still, I don't think he's not top 75 players of all time, though. I feel like some people think he is, but he's not. Are you double checking me?
I am, but I mean, it's not listed as a basketball reference, so. But Grant Hill does drink Sprite.
Grant Hill is in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Okay. I had to double check you. So, Grant Hill. Grant Hill's career numbers, 16.7 points per game, rebounds at 6 rebounds, 4.1 assists per game. Jamal Mashburn, 19.1 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game, 4 assists. All right, dude averaged more than Grant Hill. How about Anthony, a.k.a. Penny Hardaway? Career 15.2 points per game, 4.5 rebounds per game, 5 assists per game. Jamal Mashburn scored more.
He did.
Just saying.
But we don't know if he drank Sprite or not.
I'm surprised Jamal Mashburn. Penny Hardaway actually played more games than him, 704 compared to Mashburn, 611. Mashburn is only a one-time All-Star. I find that hard to believe. This was a guy that his second year he averaged 24 points, 23 points, not even an All-Star. Goes to the Horn, 20 points, 21 points, 21.6. His last year was in 2003 and 2004, and he averaged 20.8 points per game.
Ashburn?
Yeah. That's an under-the-radar type of player. Man, 90s were awesome. So good. So good. All right, we only got a minute left, so we'll record that podcast coming up, Man Cave Podcast, 5-star rating, please.
You've got the next 2 weeks of podcasts figured out. Because next Friday is
Winter Olympics?
Yeah, our sort of athletic.
I got a logo created, but I don't know if I like it. I have to think about it. There's like a guy, I don't know if he's supposed to be like sliding through these off the sled or something. I'll show it to you after the break. But yeah, got a couple weeks worth. So if you don't mind, clicking 5 stars on Spotify, boost that up. Apple, 5 stars. Positive review on Apple too. So have a good, fantastic football-less weekend. Unless you are watching the Senior Bowl, then it is not a football-less weekend. We could have done that. Who are you picking really quick?
North of the South?
Yeah.
North.
I'll go South. Why not? Just
one of us will be right.
One of us will be right. So, all right, shot clock's going to cut us off. We'll be back Monday morning, 6 a.m. normal time. You going to be anywhere tonight watching some games?
I'm going to be bopping around a little
bopping
bit.
around? All right. So have a fantastic weekend. We'll talk to you Monday.